to episode 169 of the Battlecast podcast. I'm your host, Peng, and Kaz's Corner this week because I'm going to win Kaz's Corner.
Kaz's Corner champion.
Kaz's Corner champion. That's right. I got.
I believe in you. I believe in you. You can do it.
in the.
I don't.
It's actually kind of hard to do it in the 2 weeks I have as Kaz's Corner champion because at best I could tie, but people don't understand why my name changes, and it's best you don't know. It's best you don't know. But
Caleb's probably made like flashcards for like all the Pokedex entries. He's been like studying every day, you know.
I haven't done none of that. Because I don't want anyone accusing me of cheating or nothing when I win. I'm doing it all on my own. You
say when you win. I think even if you win.
I already realized, like I need to go the Steve route, just throw out something broad, something general, and whatever I'm thinking, it's probably wrong. So I need to go with that. But anyway, we'll get into Kaz's Corner later. We have a bunch of things to talk about today.
Steve abandoned his Lord friends. What's going on here?
For
Chestnut.
Look,
there's a
for
new
Chestnut. We got to get into that too later.
Yeah, Tomahawk Australia over here on Steve's end. He might be visiting that region soon. He's already visiting all the other regions. But
sure.
Okay, so let's get into some events to kick things off because we'll just start it off there. We don't have a ton, but we have some like monkey events coming up. It's Oranguru and Passimian Research Day. It's not officially called monkey event. That's just what I call it. 'Cause it's just a bunch of monkeys. Actually, it's very monkey focused. The rest of the spawns are monkey focused too. So they're in research, but also in the wild. There's Mankey, Apom, Slakoth, Chimchar, Grookey, literally all the monkeys.
I'm kind of disappointed they didn't come up with a more clever name. Just
wait, do they have like?
Yeah, they could have been like.
Do they have
monkeying around? Do they have like nothing like crazy?
Right? Wait, do they have a Pampor and all those?
Nah.
No,
they're not involved.
No, none of those. That could have been a good way to get people going though, because if you spawn them globally, then people that don't have the ones from other regions will be more likely to try to catch them. But and they've been invented before, so it's not like a new thing.
Yeah, it looks like they're relying on the shiny debut of Passimian to bring in the people.
Yeah. What's that look like? Kaz, can I Google a picture?
Tell him no.
It's fine.
Teacher, may I go to the bathroom?
No.
I always thought that was so weird when
you
had to
started.
like you had to ask.
Started.
Yeah, like you had to ask. Like I don't think I've ever been in a situation where a teacher did not let me go to the bathroom.
Let me find my hall pass.
Yeah, but I did hear a story where one of my friends, when they were growing up, she wanted to go to the bathroom, and the teacher said no, and then she like peed her pants.
Oh my god!
And it was in gym class. Yeah.
Yeah, so many looking back on education, so many things are like.
It's so
we
weird.
really put up with a lot of weird stuff.
Yeah, like honestly, if I was a teacher, and I had a student ask to go bathroom like every 30 minutes. I wouldn't be like, "Oh, you must be doing something sketchy in the bathroom." I'd be like, "Are you okay? Like, this is like
you
a
need
medical
to go to
thing?"
the nurse.
Yeah, like honestly, I would suggest that, right? Obviously, there's some kids that might just try to abuse that, but still, like, it's just such a weird thing to like deny someone of doing. It's like
I also like
need,
wouldn't even want them asking because I feel like that would just interrupt my teaching. I feel like I'd just be like, if you need to go to the bathroom, go. Like, it's not a big deal.
The hall pass is hanging right there on the door, like one at a time. Just go.
I think it's still fine to ask to go or like to just tell the teacher you're going because otherwise, Tristan, you're gonna have students going in and out of your classroom all day long. Like half of this class won't be there.
Tristan has obviously never been a teacher.
Well, definitely not.
I've never needed a hall pass either.
Yeah. Tristan talked about how studious he is, but the rest of the students might not be so much.
Yeah, he's like, I wanted to be there studying. Well, we'll see. We'll see when it gets to the corner. Back to monkeys.
Cool. Yeah, back to monkeys.
It looks like this takes place Sunday, September 22nd. So this coming weekend.
Yeah, nothing. Honestly, there's nothing crazy about this. It's just Passimian is the only new shiny, right?
Yes.
Yeah, and
Yeah,
Passimian's
it's
like
the shiny
barely even been
debut.
available in general, to be honest.
Yeah, I have
Dude, what
noticed
is
it
all
out.
this?
I have noticed it out in the wild more. Like I've kind of just seen them around more. When I feel like it debuted as kind of like a special research thing, maybe.
It debuted with
But
the Yokohama Worlds event. So yeah, I
Yeah.
think it was like maybe raids and
was it
research
in the
only.
wild for that?
For
Yeah.
the
I think that
people
was
in
its
It was in the wilds
Japan,
at Yokohama, but I think
we were lucky.
But the rest of the world, it was only research.
Research.
Yeah.
It might have
Okay.
been raids too, but yeah, it was definitely like IV locked and stuff.
It has karate chop, right?
Does it?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Oh,
I remember scrolling
Well.
through PvPoke and it wasn't very high.
no, it's counter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even when
Yes.
counter was good, it
Which
was.
got nerfed.
But even before counter got nerfed,
so.
it was pretty sad state.
Yeah, it was still irrelevant. Yeah, it was still
the
pretty bad.
charged moves were not good. And yeah, you were right. Just all the monkey spawns except for the Pan family. So we got Mankey, Apom, Slackoth, Chimchar, and Grookey. The only one that is not shiny eligible is the Grookey, obviously, since it's new to the game, and they're gonna wait till Community Day, probably.
Yeah, gotta get those Mankey spawns.
Why?
For what?
Karate chop primate.
to run a tier C like
karate chop primate.
I don't think it's good. I don't think it's good. Is it good?
It's fun.
It has ice punch.
It can be
no one asks
combat.
if it's fun or not. It's sure it's fun. I'm asking if it's good. I personally won't have fun if I'm losing with it. I can okay. It has some utility for sure, but
it's just
I don't think it's as good as Machamp. Even Machamp is not that good in this meta. I think.
I mean, I feel like it's got a different charge move profile than Machamp, so it just depends on the coverage you want.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean,
does that have higher attack than Machamp? Like, is it winning charge attack priority?
I think so.
I think it does.
I think it used to.
Really? I thought
Machamp.
Machamp did actually, but
I don't love it, but I could see how it's okay. I guess the problem is like if you run into a Zimro, you're just screwed, and you can't even muscle through like Machamp can. I mean, obviously Machamp had Rock Slide, but like Machamp kind of muscle through Clodsire because it just hits harder, whereas Primate doesn't hit nearly as hard. I think
that's why we need to give Primate Water Weather Ball.
No, you just hit it with the ice punch.
Weather Ball Water. It'll hook it up.
Because that would add so much Azumarill coverage.
Yeah. How would that help with the Azumarill problem? The Ice Punch, I think, is fine for Clodsire.
Steve's like, that's not important.
Yeah. I mean, I think Ice Punch is fine, especially because it gives you some coverage into like Mana Buzz as well. But like, it's just, I don't know. I scrimmed against Rockhaven, my teammate and he was running Primate Pin. It was a little bit underwhelming. But I don't know. Maybe I'd say something differently if I lost. I don't know. Anyway, go get yourself a Primate, just in case. Yeah. It could be good.
If you want to.
Yeah.
And we do have the paid timed research option. $2 for increased research encounters with Oranguru and Passimian.
Yeah, I think overall this event's a little bit underwhelming, but it's only for 3 hours. And I think what I've noticed too, ever since I've joined a bunch of campfire groups in my local like LA area, is that there's a ton of people that are more casual or like newer, still like kind of newer to the game, took a few years off, came back, and are like always excited about all these little events too. Like I'll see like a whole crowd in my neighborhood just like walk around every time, just any event, any raid hour, any event, all that stuff. So like,
I think a lot of these little events kind of stack up for the more casual players who aren't necessarily super invested in just like PvP. More looking for more PvE or just kind of a fun reason to get out, which I think having a lot of these mini events like is good for that.
Yeah,
it's kind of good for community to have reasons to come together.
I agree.
Yeah,
it's nice, and it's nice having events that like are exciting for some people, but like are also not a big deal to skip if you're not feeling it, sort of a deal. Like I don't mind this event because it's like
low stakes.
Well, if I have time, like cool, I'll get some shinies maybe, but like if I don't have time, I don't really feel like I'm missing much. So, and the other thing I will say is there are some players that like primarily play the game just to hunt like shinies and hundos. So like a research day like this is gonna be a big draw to them because there's a good chance at shinies and at like high IV hundos and stuff. So like again, I don't really understand it because it's like, what are you gonna do with like a hundo Passimian, or people are excited that they caught like
Collect.
a
Some
hundo
are
like.
collectors,
Yeah.
Oh, I know, but it's just like
It's the same reason that I pick up a shiny rock when I see it on
yeah,
the ground.
you know, there's some people like PPC that still needs to complete that 3-star Pokedex, right? So get yourself a 3-star Passimian.
The 3-star shiny decks.
Oh, the
Tristan,
3-star
have you
shiny
forgot?
decks are real.
Have you
Yeah,
forgotten
yeah.
about the
On
3-star shiny
on
decks?
research day, the odds of getting a 3-star shiny Passimian way higher, way higher.
Oh yeah.
True.
I'll be there. Don't you worry.
Also, just quick,
Yeah.
I just checked, by the way, Primeape has a higher attack stat than Machamp. Like, even the
Woo!
even like the
Well,
rank 1
Yeah,
Primeape
yeah.
wins CMP over like a default
Yeah.
IV Machamp.
Yeah.
So
But it doesn't hit as hard as Shadow Machamp is what I was saying, you know.
No. Yeah.
probably not.
I don't think so.
You're kind of like the problem is like you're kind of shielding both either way from everything. Like you're not going to let a Hydro Cannon go on the Primeape even though it's non-shadow and slightly bulkier, right? Like you're going to have to shield that too, right? So I think that's the main trade-off. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it has like no play for sure, right? I think it has about like a similar play as Shadow Machamp or maybe less, especially in like GPL for sure, but like especially in Show 6 and I don't know. I mean, Elite did pretty well with the Shadow Champ this past weekend, but I
It's
think
like
it's still kind of hard to play. But
doesn't hit
we'll see.
that much less. It's like I looked at like against like for Alligator, I think it's like 41% for a cross chop from Primate versus like 48% from a Machamp or something. Shadow Machamp. So like
yeah, but wouldn't the karate chops also add up?
maybe I haven't looked into it too in depth, but
I mean, they're not as high damage as Counter was, you know.
Maybe
before
we
the
shall
nerf, so-
revisit this when Professor Tristan rolls around, you know,
Yeah.
once he has his professor down on. But yeah, that was pretty much that event. Nothing too crazy, but
Yeah.
you know, for the collectors, it could be a good one. We got Legendary Heroes is the next event. See, they actually put some thought into this name, right? You know, it's not just the Zacian Shiny event, right? But so this happens on Thursday the 26th, so about 10 days from now. We're recording this on a Monday the 16th, so you know, a little bit earlier than usual. And then it goes from Thursday to Tuesday, October 1st. So it'll be the last event of September. I remember us discussing this actually when we were, you know, going over all the events and stuff.
Yeah, because they had announced the name of it, but we didn't really have any details yet.
We got event bonuses, special trades require 50 less Stardust, and coughing will be able to evolve
50 less
into
Stardust or
Galarian
50% less?
50%.
50%.
Okay.
50%.
That's a big
Only
difference.
only 50 stars.
Yeah,
that's-
I wish they increased the amount of special trades though too, because like let's say like,
Yeah.
oh, I need to get a new shiny Pokemon I don't have. I'm trading with someone. But let's meet up and drive all this way to meet up and do it, and then okay, we can only do that one trade and we're done. You know,
Aren't
but
special trades like discounted right now anyway for the season somehow?
No, we just have the
'Cause I
XL
did-
candy.
no,
trades.
that you're probably thinking about during Community Day, because
Oh,
Community Day was
that's
a
fair.
discount. Yeah.
True.
Yes, I did get a new shiny that was not Ponyta on Community Day, and it
What
was
was it?
very cheap.
Galarian,
Paras.
Galarian Ponyta.
Yeah, I actually didn't have that one. No matter how many Paras I clicked on, they would never be
Oh.
shiny.
Wait, what did you get for it?
What did I give for
Yeah.
it? I gave a Trubbish, so it was like Stardust.
shiny
Beast from
Trubbish?
Stardust was
Oh, okay.
First, I thought she just
and
scammed
it actually
them.
went lucky.
What-
It actually went lucky on like.
There we go.
no
We
lucky
that's
friends,
a
so-
check for the 3-star shiny decks for sure.
Exactly.
Woo!
Oh, the
That's
other
great.
the other fun detail about this event is that coughing will be able to evolve into Galarian Weezing. I know
Yeah, so this
caused
is
quite a
like
stir on the internet because people realizing I don't even
dude,
have
this could have
a
been the tea
shadow.
topic right here actually.
Yeah.
So this is actually really interesting, right? Obviously if you want a good high rank Galarian Weezing, you have good rank coughing. Great way to do it for both Great League and Ultra League, because before I think they're just like they weren't. I think they spawned wild in like one Go Fest or something. That was about it. But the tricky part here is that how do you get a Shadow Galarian Weezing? You have to evolve a Shadow Coughing. But if you don't have a Shadow Coughing, how do you get a Shadow Galarian Weezing? You can't. You really can't because they're not in Rockets right now, right? Unless they add them into Rockets or like raids or something soon or during this event, there's no way you could get a Shadow Galarian Weezing.
Yeah, Niantic.
I
If you
am still holding out hope that
That
yes.
they'll come back into Rockets somehow.
Well,
But the
during
thing
this
is, like,
event, I'm hoping it'll be
just
like a
during this event, yeah.
surprise. Yeah.
They have to be very conscientious of it. Niantic listeners, I'm just letting you know, right? I'm just letting you know. It's a huge. This game's not the most accessible by any means, but this is a huge accessibility problem, right? Because the thing is, even if they add Shadow Coughing during the next Rock event, right, or
too late.
Shadow Coughing raids after this event, it's too late.
Yeah.
You can't evolve it into Shadow Galarian
because we
Weezing anymore.
had
So like,
yeah, because there was a similar event, like I don't even know, like what was it, like 3 or 4 years ago? I feel like where you could evolve
the Marowak one.
Cubone into
Yep.
Alolan
Mhm.
Marowak, and that was the
Yep.
only time that you could get a Shadow Alolan Marowak until like the last like week or two when they just added Shadow Alolan Marowak to Shadow Raids, which props to Niantic for that.
3 years ago.
Like,
Oh, was it 3 years ago?
it
It was like
was
at least two plus years ago. It was over 2 years
Mhm.
ago. It was at least over 2 because I was in Atlanta at the time, and I moved here over 2 years ago. So
yeah, I feel like it
Yeah.
was like during the pandemic, maybe. I don't know. It was back when Alolan Marowak was good before, which has been a while.
yeah.
But again,
That's true.
props to Niantic for bringing back the Alolan Marowak Shadow in the Shadow Raids.
Yeah,
But like
but props,
that
but
was
it also took like 3 years. So
exactly.
like, you
So,
know,
like, well,
like I
Yeah.
wouldn't say props when they bring it finally Shadow Galarian Weezing into race 3 years later. That's a little too long, you know.
oh, I
Yeah.
agree.
But
Like
but
hopefully
yeah.
it'll be less than that, or hopefully, I mean, fingers crossed they bring back the Shadow during the event. That would be like a cool like tie into the event. And
I
I
mean,
would love.
thematic question.
I hold out hope.
What's your question?
So I have one Shadow Coughing in my inventory, no Wheezing, and I have it called James because I caught it from the Team Rocket James like balloon
Yeah.
when he came through.
Yes.
Has there been Shadow Coughing outside of the James
I
and
don't
Jesse
think
thing
so.
out?
Yes.
Or is there has?
Yes.
Because
Okay.
I checked my inventory.
Oh.
I only have 2 Shadow Coughing, and one was from like January of this year. And I know there wasn't any Jesse and
Okay.
James balloons this year
Mm.
because
Yeah,
we
yeah,
haven't
yeah.
had the
Yeah.
Jesse and James balloons in a couple years. So
Okay.
apparently
just
it
checking.
was.
I was like, oh, it's
I
not like Lena linked to that, but okay.
right. I mean, I thought what you said was true because I didn't remember it being outside of the Jesse and James. But again, apparently I have one in my inventory. It's not very good, but it's there. But yeah. I mean, in an ideal world, I know this is asking a lot, but I'd love to see it in both Rocket Grunts and Shadow Raids, because Rocket Grunts would help you be
Honestly-
more likely to get good spreads for Great League, but for Ultra
Mhm.
League spreads, it's easier to get good spreads from the raids because of the higher IV floor. Because I think the rank 1 is
Yeah,
like an 8,
honestly-
15, 15 or something.
I think it's more likely that they would put coughing into like 1-star shadow raids for that event. I think that's like the most likely thing to happen than them rotating like rocket grunts at that time.
I mean, I could also see them doing
Fingers crossed.
3-star
Fingers
Galarian
crossed.
Weezing shadow raids as well. I could see
Ugh.
that being a possibility too.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, it's just tough too because you won't be able to get a good IV one at all, right? Even from raids, you can't trade them. So
Mhm.
like they'll be more accessible, I guess, if they ever come into raids, even if it's not within like 3-year period. But at the same time too, it's just like you can't get a good like PvP IV spread.
I mean, you can
no
get like
matter
a
what, if they're not
decent
in.
one, just not the best possible, right? Like,
Decent, maybe. Okay, let's. Shall we check this and see like how much? Let's just go Great League, right? As a comparison, right? I'm just curious into seeing what the difference is here because I don't know, right? Obviously, like it could be. All right, what moveset do we want? Fairy Wind, Play Rough, Brutal Swing.
Really
Yeah, that's the
overheat.
moveset, isn't it?
Isn't it?
Oh,
Brutal Swing
there is an
Overheat.
Oh, actually, we can't actually check the shadow variant at least.
Why?
Oh, it's
because,
not in PvPoke yet.
It's not PvP.
Yeah.
You just take the little
Gotcha.
shadow thing. What do you mean?
Oh, true. I'm a PvP
Yeah,
noob.
You can do.
All right, 10,
You
15,
can do-
15 goes to
No,
1498. That's probably one of the best.
Shadow Raids I thought had a floor of 6.
Oh, you're right. Okay, you know
Ah.
what? You're right. 6, 15, 15 goes to 1497. So that's actually pretty.
And it's a
that's
rank
pretty solid too,
94.
right?
That's a rank 94 right
Caleb's
there.
just learning all sorts of new things today.
I sure am. Okay, maybe it don't matter then. Maybe yeah, but I gotta rate a bunch just to like spend a bunch of rate passes to get potentially a good
Yeah.
one. It's probably not going to be good, right? All right, let's just
Yeah.
compare it to Great League meta. Let's see what happens if we're super lucky. Yeah. So the raid one, you lose Azumarill, and you lose Skeldurge in the ones.
Wait, which moveset is this?
Brutal Swing, Play Rough,
Oh, okay.
and then
Do you check with
you pick up some
Overheat?
stuff in the 2 shield. Yeah, Overheat. Yeah. What do you want? Overheat instead of Brutal Swing?
No, you have to keep Brutal Swing. That's your cheat move.
What are you running Brutal Swing for?
For
What's
being fast?
For all the ghosts.
Yeah.
That there aren't any ghosts.
No, like you.
I mean,
you
think,
can't run
I think
Play
you
Rough
Oh,
can
wait,
and
sorry.
beat
Overheat.
Play
I
Rough,
meant to
though.
say
Otherwise,
Overheat.
otherwise, like you don't even really beat Malamar without Play Rough. All right, you lose Skeldurge in the ones if you for the Overheat Brutal Swing variant.
I mean,
Yeah, but this is
Overheat.
assuming you get the best IV spread possible, right, from a raid. It's much easier to grind a bunch of Rockins to get a decent IV spread.
Oh,
I
for
think,
sure.
right?
I'm not denying that at
Yeah.
all. But I'm just saying, like,
But I think a 6 15 15 is respectable because for at least Ultra League, I think the rank 1 is like a 6 15. It's an 8 15 15.
that's what I
So
was
for at
saying.
least Ultra League
It's
purposes,
actually if you care about Ultra
it's actually
League,
not
the
too
Shadow
bad.
Raids are actually better.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, anyway. Okay, it's not the worst case scenario, I guess. But again, just like this is why like it's a cool event, but I also don't like it because like there's no way you could get a Shadow Coughing in time before this happens, you know? It's like, hooray, we could do this thing that would be great if we had the Pokemon, but people don't,
I
right?
choose to stay positive. Maybe they'll give me those shadow coughing raids.
But Steve, to answer
Maybe?
your question, Overheat is just
Maybe.
like
I just hate that, you know? Like it's like feels like a money grab too. Be like, all right, we don't have it,
Yeah.
but if you're willing to spend some money, then you could join in on the fun too. It's just like, what? Like,
Listen, we've seen this before. We
I know.
that's the
I
case,
just like
you know.
this is something that I've always like hated about a lot of like free mobile games, right? Because there's like but you could also pay to like get certain features. And
Mhm.
I would say a lot of mobile games are like pay to win, right? Like you could accelerate certain things and just become like super strong or whatever if you pay a certain amount. And I've always thought that Pokemon Go for the most part is fairly balanced in that respect outside of like for Master League purposes. But there's a lot of things you do outside of Master League, right? But for competitive like PvP, like you don't really have to spend money for this stuff. But it's just like, I don't know, feels a little grimy. I get that they had to make money somehow, but like there's other like mobile games that make money without having to do this. It's
Okay.
skins,
I mean,
man.
just
Do Pokemon skins, dude. Like it's so
they'd
easy.
have poses.
It's free money.
That's
You know
literally
what-
like
you know
if
what
you got
they should
costumes,
do?
they've got poses and
Yeah. Well,
Like,
also
pretty much
poses,
give us
they have
more. Give
accessories,
us
like-
more like avatar items. Like I would love to be able to like have my in-game avatar wear some of the like cool like Pokemon merch. Like collab with like TPCI. Like a lot of like the world's merch. Like would be cool to like have your avatar
Yeah.
wear that or like
Yeah.
Mhm.
and also
Yeah.
on the
Or
flip
or
side-
like this is something I always thought about too, but I think it's probably not as easy to execute as I think it is. I always thought I was like, there's all this in-game avatar stuff like apparel for Pokemon Go. Why don't they just open up their own storefront and just sell the actual avatar items so you
Yes.
can match your
I
avatar?
was about to
Dude, you
say
make
that.
a killing off of that.
That's what I was
There's
gonna
so
say.
many people that would do that.
There's some
I've
really
been saying that
cool
for years.
Yeah, there's
right?
some really
Yeah.
cool avatar items in there, and some people like there's some stuff that like I would totally buy if like they were actually selling those shirts, and like it'd
Yeah,
be cool to just be able to match your avatar, like you said. Like
yeah.
so, like I
There's
I
a-
still
I
want
mean,
my
there's a
I still
few.
want my Cosmog jacket. Give it to me.
hey, I just want that
Wait, what?
giant
How do you get a Cosmog
Pikachu
jacket?
hat, like the giant
Oh,
like
you mean like an
Halloween
in-person
one.
Cosmog jacket?
Yeah,
Oh.
that's what I'm talking about. Like, make me a real one.
Wait, I don't even know what the Cosmog jacket looks like.
It's like a shiny bomber jacket, like in galaxy colors, like pink and blue and purple.
That does look
Oh,
kind of
it's so
cool.
cute.
There's a few outfits you could match, but that's just because I think coincidentally they have the T-shirt for it, like you know the Sinnoh tour or the Hoenn tour, where
Or
they
the
have like
Go,
that shirt and you
right.
can wear that.
Or the Go
the
Fest shirt or
planned
something.
events.
Yeah, the Go
The
Fest shirt, right?
The planned events always
Yeah.
usually have.
Yeah,
like,
the
a
planned events
matching
have it. So
t-shirt.
I know they're capable, right? I don't know what the hoops are to like creating the other stuff. Maybe they don't think it's worth it because people won't buy it, but I think a lot of people would.
I would,
I
I'm
think
just trying to
I
come
would
up with some
see-
other ideas for y'all to make money.
You guys know that
but-
like
So
giant
that
like
we can have the
pumpkin
Pokemon
head
we want for free.
Pikachu costume
Yeah.
thingy. I would love to see that
Yeah.
IRL.
the what?
It's
the
like
pumpkin, like the pumpkin Pikachu, you know, like it's a pumpkin that's like
oh.
it's like the
carved in a
ridiculous
Pikachu face.
avatar thing
Dude,
that
I would
people
get
wear.
that.
Yeah,
I bet
Dude,
a
that
ton of
could
people
I
easily,
would
would.
like,
wear
if they-
that.
If
I
they
would wear
made
that every Halloween.
that would be a bet too. Like Last Selection has to wear that for every podcast episode until the next season. You know, something like that. Something crazy.
I
like
would be happy to.
that.
I'm
I don't
tanking
know, at a
right
certain
now.
Point, right? I could,
I'll do
I
it
could-
without even
She'd
asking.
be like, the pumpkin starts talking. All right, it's Kaz's corner. Right?
It's Pumpkin's Corner.
Yeah.
I think you guys don't understand how much I love Halloween.
That's wild. Are you a big Sleepy Hollow fan? 'Cause
I
there's, like,
mean,
the pumpkin head
yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
There's
but
a-
also Nightmare Before Christmas, like
Oh yeah. true,
also
true,
that
a lot
episode of The
pumpkins.
Office where Dwight puts a pumpkin on his
Wait, did I
head
ever
and
show you
then-
about how I dressed up my cats as pumpkins?
No.
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 Oh, I'll send you that photo. But
Okay.
I'll find that real quick while I'm doing it. But you can find it on my Instagram for anyone that's curious. But I'll find it for Kaz.
Also,
That
this
reminds me, one of my friends,
Rodriguez
he-
hat would be amazing IRL.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Please.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be
I
good
mean,
for Halloween too.
any of the giant hats, honestly, like the Phantom hat, you know, that they did, I think last year, gold.
People would
Yeah.
buy that stuff for sure.
Give it to me, like a Spirit Halloween that's just Pokemon merchandise, please.
All right, let me I'll send
Okay.
it to you so you can see my pumpkin cats.
Great.
But yeah, so one of my friends, he lives in Sleepy Hollow, New York, actually, and there's a
Oh.
bunch of like horse statues and stuff, like from
Oh,
like
yeah.
the Sleepy Hollow like story and stuff. Because
It's still one of my all-time
based in that
bucket list
area.
things to go to like Salem for Halloween, and I know it's crazy around that time of year, but I would love it.
I posted.
Oh
in
my
group
god!
chat. Yeah.
Are they fine with it or are they pissy?
They look pretty
they're
unhappy.
pissy. Yeah, here I'll show you I'll show you the other photo too that I took of them because
Oh my god. They look
'cause-
really unhappy, but amazingly cute.
oh no, they look okay there. They are very unhappy in this next photo because you'll see why. You know what? For those
know
who are
you-
curious, I'll just throw it on the YouTube version.
I
so
was
that
gonna
they can see
say,
as
you know,
well.
at this point, we've been talking about it long enough. I think you have to put it in the video.
Yeah, I'll put both photos up there for everyone so they
God.
can see it.
Amazing.
Let me just timestamp this so I know when to add it. See what I mean?
Who's on the
That's
left?
when they weren't happy.
Whoever's on the left,
Huh?
left looks extra pissy.
I think that's Cheggy.
Well, the one on the right is Cheggy. The one with
Oh.
their ear popping out, that's Cheggy. Well, I guess their ear's popping out both. The one on the
No,
left is
I know-
Cranberry. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cheggy looked like
okay.
she about to come and get you. Like, you know, like I'm
Yeah.
gonna get you for this. Like, you dare take a photo of me? I'm coming for you.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. I think
Amazing.
I was using it was a self timer actually. There was no one taking the photo. You can see
Oh,
the
yeah.
remote actually in my hand. Actually,
Oh,
if you
yeah, I
look at the
can
brief-
see it.
Yeah. Yeah. So
Amazing.
tough times. But
Anyway, there's just some more free ideas, Niantic.
Yeah.
Pokemon. Please.
for
Yeah,
real.
So the legendary hero event. that
So
you know,
anyway, yeah. I know
that
we're
was the
doing
part of the
Which
event that most people
does-
don't care about.
Which does, in fact, take us closer to Halloween. You know, one step closer.
True.
It looks like we're going to have some special timed research where you have to pick a path, the sword path or the shield path.
Yeah.
Trainers will be able to access free branching timed research that award items, XP Stardust, and encounters with
Did I
event-themed
cut out?
Pokemon that are determined by the path you pick. So we've seen this a few times now.
Hello?
It doesn't specify what Pokemon are linked to which.
It
But I
does.
assume it's
Next
it
little
does
thing.
further down?
Well,
Oh,
kind of. It
the
says
next-
incense
Well,
encounters
that
for
says
which one, which
incense.
it
So
sort of
this-
tells you that it's probably the same. Like
It's
in
probably
general.
similar, yeah.
But, Sword is Seedot, Scraggy, Gothita, Dino, Swirlix, Persimmon. Shield Path is Larvitar, Lotad, Krogunk, Solosis, Spritzy, and Oranguru. So actually, you only get one of Persimmon and Oranguru. And, I guess, if you didn't get your shiny monkey from the event before, you just, pick your one, I suppose. But
Wait, does
I
that
mean, I'm
give
already-
you? Does it give you
I'm already
one?
leaning towards.
Wait.
I'm already leaning towards sword just because I need more of those shinies.
Wait, is it like you get
And
one
because-
encounter with each of those Pokemon, or like?
No.
They're
these are-
attracted to incense, but at the same
Yeah.
time, they're probably you probably get one encounter with each of them in, research or something to that effect. You'd sort of just
Mhm.
guess.
Yeah, I feel like my play style is usually I don't have long grind sessions. It's just I open the game here or there and just catch what's around me for a few minutes. So using incense isn't super useful for me in my day-to-day gameplay loop. I'll use it when I'm
Yeah.
playing for an extended period of time for a community day, but for an extended event like that, I'm probably not gonna use incense much or if at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean,
yeah.
if Steve is right and the encounters are similar, people can kind of use that to gauge which timed research they might want.
For sure.
Well, you can rely on us oceanic folks to let you know
It's true.
how it's gonna.
Number one Pokemon
end
Go
up.
player in the world, Steve, will take us the way.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah,
sorry
so
about
it
that.
doesn't-
My Wi-Fi dropped, so I don't know how much of it was saved, but there's a chance that you can still hear me talking because this recording software is kind of weird. But anyway, what were you all saying? Because I didn't hear anything that you all just said. So give me a brief recap.
Yeah, so we were talking about the fact that the timed research doesn't actually it doesn't lay out what you get in the research itself, like the sword or shield pathways, but
As
you've
far
got
as the
incense
Pokemon
counters.
encounters.
Yeah, as far as the Pokemon encounters, but it says there's incense encounters for each one that it does list out. They're probably the same. You can just sort of assume that in the research you're going to pick up one of each of these guys, with Sword getting Seedot, Scraggy, Gothita, Dino, Swirlix, Persimmon, and Shield getting Larvitar, Lotad, Krogunk, Solosis, Spritzy, and Oranguru, with one monkey per. But
Most of the rest of those seem a little underwhelming besides the monkeys, but it is what it is.
It's whatever. I mean, people out there are going to be wanting Larvitars and Dinos that didn't get to play the Com Day, newer players, yada yada. Again,
And for just shiny hunting purposes,
Yeah.
I lean towards the sword path because that has more shinies that I need. I don't have a Scraggy, I don't have a Gothita or a Swirlix at all in my shiny deck, so would love to get.
yeah, they're all shiny eligible, so
Which is nice, because sometimes there's stuff mixed in that doesn't have the shiny available, and you're just
Yeah. So that's pretty groovy. And then, there's wild encounters as well. Galarian Ponyta, let's go. Shiny eligible, huge. Also coughing, non-shadow coughing, regular coughing's hanging out. Galarian Darumaka, Grookey, Scorbunny, Swabble, and Squabbit. If you haven't got enough of those either.
So
all hanging around.
I still
coughing
need my
is-
shiny one, Steve. Not all of us can get a Dynamax shiny Squovit.
Shinamax, baby! Let's go!
Dynamax!
World's #1 grinder.
Exactly. That grind
You
really
wait till I
paid
have the
off.
full set.
Yeah, I feel like the coughing is probably the most exciting spawn there. Getting good IVs to evolve for that Galarian Weezing, and also combined with the seasonal guaranteed XL from trade bonus, you can just catch a bunch and swap them to get XLs to build that Ultra League Galarian Weezing and Ultra League
something
Shadow
we should
Galarian
probably-
Weezing.
Well, I'm actually very curious. What actually has more wins? Actually, so because
Between what?
between Weezing and the Shadow and the non-Shadow Galarian Weezing, right?
Oh.
Because right now, we can actually sim that. So I'm just curious because if it's not even worth the hype because the shadow's just worse, then whatever, right? But
I think I saw a lot of people putting out the analysis that it was just kind of like a side grade, not really full
Yeah.
up or down, just sort of also good.
well, what
I don't think
moveset
it's
of
a
choice do we want
must-have.
here?
Why don't you
I think
just
we go
do both?
brutal swing.
Just do both movesets.
Oh, okay. I'll do both.
If you're doing a Matrix sim
I don't know. That
anyways,
sounds
Alright,
like that
18
sounds like Professor Tristan work over there.
Yeah, I know. Professor, do your own work, man.
Yeah, come on.
Plagiarizing my academia stuff. All right, 18
Not even
wins,
getting the
19
class notes
losses
together.
for the non-shadow. Brutal swing, play rough. 19 wins, 18 losses for the shadow. So like not that much better. And then we got overheat. So overheat variant, 20 wins, 17 losses for the shadow, and then 23 wins, 14 losses for the normal. Interesting. So the shadow is slightly better with the play rough variant, like very slightly, but it's worse in the what do you call it?
overheat.
Overheat variants. Yeah, and let's
Yeah.
check for Ultra League too, because
I think that kind of makes sense because the stab damage helps you out as well. And if you're already running the shadow to go for that higher damage, then you might as well use your stab type attack.
Yeah, that's true. That does
kinda
make
makes
sense.
to
Yeah.
me.
Well, yeah, I think it makes
But I
sense
don't play
because
with
like
shadows, so I don't know.
overheat,
Yeah.
overheat hits
This
so
is all
hard.
irrelevant to Kaz.
It's all nonsense to me.
Yeah, but she has to get that purified. Galarian Weezing.
I need it. I'm gonna
Yeah,
run
yeah,
it.
sim it with
I'm gonna
return.
run it with return.
Yeah, so for the Ultra League, the overheat non-shadow variant wins 18, loses 13 into the meta. Shadow wins 20, loses 11. So Shadow definitely better in that respect. And then for the Shadow for play rough, 17 wins, 14 losses. For the non-shadow, 19 wins, 12 losses. So it's actually just as side grade as it gets, I think. There's really just it's weird because in Ultra League, it's actually better with play rough. But in Great League, it's better shadow with play rough. So Kaz's logic doesn't even make sense there too either because but I don't know.
I
Things
told
are
you
both
I
good in
don't know what
Ultra
I'm
League.
doing.
I don't know, that's fine.
Why
I
did
don't
anyone
know.
let me
Yeah.
drive this car?
Yeah, it's one of those where like
Professor Kaz.
yeah, it's not a strict upgrade for sure. It's a side grade, and it's just going to depend on like what matchups you care about, right? Like, because
I think it'll be good to have though, but
Yeah.
it's just it might not be as like relevant as we think it is. I don't think Weezing's that relevant, at least in GPO at the moment. Anyway, maybe in Ultra League, but in Great League, I don't. It feels a
I
little
do think
underwhelming.
it's a little more relevant in the Ultra League meta.
Yeah, there's
you
lots
have
of
a lot.
outside there, so
Yeah, you have lots more like fighters. I've seen a lot more Machamp, a lot more of the
Swords of Justice.
the Verzion and the Cobalion. So like, yeah, I think it makes more sense in that meta than it does in Great League.
For sure. Just wait till we get that fantasy cup back, and it's gonna cook probably.
That's true.
Yeah.
But with this event, I think a lot more people are going to be excited about the raids because we do have the debut of Shiny Zacian in raids, which is a very beautiful shiny. So get those XL, get your Shundos.
Yeah, I need those XLs. I'm still a bit short.
Me too. I think I don't have a hundo of that one yet. I think I have like a 98, but I definitely need XL.
I have bad luck on that too. I don't have anything good.
And then we have in 1-star raids, we have more Galarian Ponyta.
Oh, thank heck.
Phew! Galarian Darumaka. We've got Gumi, Jangmo-O. In 3-star raids, we have Turtonator and Drampa, two shiny availables dragons that are
Mormon Matt is rejoicing.
and we do have Zacian in the 5-star raids. The mega raid will be Mega Gardevoir during this event.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, I think overall it's like a solid event. Again, my gripe with the shadow coughing, it is what it is, but it's not just me that feels this way, right? There's a lot of people that do.
Yeah.
I obviously don't have a shadow coughing that's eligible for evolving purposes, but even if I did, like, it's still not. It doesn't make it any more accessible for other people.
Yep,
You know, like
I agree.
Like
Yeah.
it is what it is. Do you all have Shadow Coughing saved? Out of curiosity,
No, absolutely, I do not.
Oh,
What
obviously.
about Big Grinder Steve?
Yeah, it's like
Yes,
I've got the
Steve.
one, but like to be honest, I kind of don't want to evolve it because like it is the James one, and I'm like, I might just keep it for
The
thematic
James
purposes.
one. What do you mean the James one?
From the
From
Team
that-
Rocket
from the-
James.
Yeah,
Well, I
Yeah.
know, but why
and
not? Oh, you don't want to evolve for like
just
because
for,
like
Just like,
anime
yeah.
purposes.
Yeah,
nostalgia,
exactly.
sentimental.
Yeah,
Did
reasons.
James
just keep
ever
him
evolve
around.
his into a Galarian Weezing at any point in the
He
anime?
evolved it into
I
regular.
don't think it's
Didn't he
been
evolve it into
Galarian.
regular Weezing at some point? I feel
Yeah,
like?
regular
He
Weezing, and
did.
then he let it go.
And it never turned Galarian in the anime, right?
Never
I
turned
don't know how it works
Galarian,
in
so.
anime. Maybe there's like a different way to do it, but
I wasn't
Uh,
watching the anime that long, so
Wait,
there
so
was
you had-
no
so
well,
you
if you're
such thing
really
as a
committed to the
Gala.
anime, Steve, then you should just evolve into a regular Weezing.
Wait, Steve, so you just have the one though?
Yeah, I just have the one.
Okay.
That's it.
What about you, Tristan?
I
I
have
feel like
t-
Tristan's hoarding something.
No, I just have two. One is like really bad IV spread, and then the other one is not great for Great League, but is actually the rank 1 for Ultra League.
Dude, man says
Oh.
just two, has one for Great League that's not
No.
good IV spread, and a rank one for Ultra League. He says just two. Meanwhile, the three of us have zero.
No, Steve has one.
He is all
Steve's
that's
holding
saying
you up.
just two.
Just a
Yeah.
few.
Okay, sorry,
you
Steve has one,
know.
but he's
Yeah,
he's
I've got-
he's
I
not-
don't want to
He's
evolve
the number one
Yeah.
player Pokemon Go grinder in the world.
Yeah,
You
and
know
you have
this.
double the amount
Yeah,
of
if I only
the
have
number one
one.
grinder. So what's,
That's something
What does
to
that
be
tell
proud
you?
of, for sure.
do you have the XLs
Hardcore.
to make the rank one Ultra League one? It's three. I think it's
Who do you
360.
Who do you think you're talking to?
No, not
Oh.
Steve for
Yeah,
Tristan.
true.
Oh.
Tristan's a hoarder for sure.
Who do
so
you
he
think you're
might,
talking
but-
to?
Wait, how many XLs do you need?
Well, it's like
360.
Oh, I have
something?
300.
I think you need max as a straight 50. So
God.
just
Yeah.
at 360, I think it's the max.
So
for
I have
shadows.
330 XLs, but I also don't have like a
Oh, you'll
regular.
get it during this event too.
But I don't
yeah.
have like
You're
enough
fine.
for a regular Galarian Weezing, so I'd have to pick.
Well, no,
Yeah.
there's literally just
Well,
coughing spawning
pick the rank
everywhere in this
one.
event. Just save all of them and trade it, and then you'll be like pretty much there.
True, but that's like what, another like 300 something I need to get. We'll see.
No. Well, it's
No.
296 for the rank one for the other one, but also
I
you
need
get
another-
candies, you get XLs for catching them too, right? So like you
True.
don't have to catch like 300 coughing, you just get them, and we have the guaranteed trade, right? I think you can do it, Tristan. Right? You can
We'll
do
see.
it.
We'll see. I don't know how much I'll be playing or not, but I'll probably
well,
be-
yeah, because you're already all set on the coughing. I get it. No need to continue to rub it in our faces.
Rude. Churlish.
Yeah, but
I do need
anyway,
a better
okay.
regular Galarian Weezing for like Great League and stuff, so I'll be catching some.
well, yeah, like you don't need XLs for that.
Yeah. All right. We got ourselves an update on showcases, which is not really that big of a deal to me personally, but I think for the big showcase people, it could be. They essentially changed how showcase works. So now, so there'll be occasional showcase where it isn't just one Pokemon. They'll be like, "Oh, what's your heaviest dark type?" Right, and everyone's dropping their freaking Guzzlord in there, and there's no way you can compete with that because Guzzlord's just already so big.
Yeah,
But they changed the assessment of it so that now if they do like what's your heaviest dark type, they're assessed. There's like some metric that are assessed based on that specific Pokemon. So let's say
The
a Guzzlord,
species,
yeah,
yeah.
the species. So a Guzzlord could easily lose to like a Purloin, right? Another dark type because they're scaled differently. They're it'll be scaled to that specific Pokemon, right? So like a fairly big Guzzlord is not going to beat a really big Purloin, right?
yeah,
So that's
Yeah.
going to be an update on the
Yeah.
type showcase.
that'll be good
Yeah.
because like
Because they have it featuring. Well, actually, sorry, Tristan, you go ahead.
I was gonna say, it's been annoying because a lot of these showcases will be like, "Oh, what's your biggest fairy type?" And it's like the biggest fairy types were all like Zacian and Xerneas, mostly
Mhm.
Xerneas, and it's just like, who happened to have a big Xerneas sitting around from whenever the last time it was in raids, like several months ago, and it's like it's not during the current event, so if you don't have a big Xerneas, like you can't do anything about it. And like
Yeah.
that's been like several times where it's like, I don't remember which other ones we had, but like there's been several times where it's been whatever type, like the biggest Pokemon was just some raid Pokemon that we haven't had in like 6+ months. And it's like, if you don't have a big one, then you're just screwed for that showcase, and like
Yeah.
versus most other showcases are usually more tied to the event. So like again, I'm not a big showcase person, but like if you do care about that, like you can at least go out and like grind whatever the Pokemon is and try to hopefully catch something bigger.
Yeah.
So I think
It
it's a
looks
good
like
change.
it looks like this is starting with a normal type Pokemon showcase, and actually that starts today. Started at 10 a.m. local time, goes until Wednesday, September 18th at 8 p.m. local time. So yeah, normal type Pokemon, and again, they're doing it by species, like instead of just biggest. So right now we don't really have like a main event going on, but we sure do get a lot of normal type spawns anyway. So good
Yeah.
opportunity for those who are showcase lovers.
Yeah, because now you could potentially win with like a Rattata or a Pidgey against someone's Snorlax, right? Versus before it was like, if you
Yeah.
don't have a big Snorlax, you're just gonna lose.
The graphic they put out for it, like even kind of shows that with like a Rattata actually having a higher point total in the showcase than a Snorlax or a Bibarel further down.
Yeah, I've got one at the moment. I've got a Furfrou in it that's third place. First place is an Ursaluna, then a Kangaskhan, and then Furfrou. So it's like, you know,
There you go.
it's all pretty decent.
Yeah,
But yeah,
that'll be good.
not much else to
Um,
say there. But
yeah, it's a small change, but good quality of life change, I think,
And
for
then-
for everyone.
one other thing not on the agenda, but I just wanted to mention real briefly is I went to the Pokemon Go night at the Mariners game on Friday, and that was
Oh,
pretty
yeah.
cool. They did one with the Miami Marlins like a week ago, and like it was a fun little thing. They had what's it called, like an official route that just like went around the stadium, and then they had like a like easy little timed research thingy that gave like a Cubone and a Marowak and a Alolan Marowak, I guess. um, I don't totally get the tie in there, but it was just a fun little thing to do. And then they had like Pikachu raids with like a background of the stadium, which was pretty cool. So like
Yeah, I
They could
saw
be
some
shiny too,
people.
right?
yeah,
Yeah, I saw some people sharing that with the stadium background, and
Yeah.
just like all those like photo backgrounds from special locations. It looks pretty cool.
the shiny rate
Yeah.
seems pretty low though. So like it'd be nice if like
Mm.
because I'd love to see them continue doing this like with other baseball teams, so other people get a chance, and hopefully like other sports teams and stuff too would be cool. But I'd love to see them bump up the shiny rate a little bit. It felt kind of low, which felt bad.
Yeah.
And also the backgrounds seemed guaranteed, but somehow I did one raid that didn't have the background. It must have been some fluke or something. I don't know what happened because every other raid I did had a background, and everyone else I was with said like every raid they did had a background, but somehow I just like did a fluke Pikachu raid that had no background. I don't know if maybe my like avatar like accidentally like drifted too far away
Yeah.
outside of the stadium or
That
something.
seems like a likely
But
suspect. Yeah.
something weird happened, so I had the one. But yeah, overall it was a fun little thing, but like nothing crazy if you weren't able to make it. But yeah, I'd love to see them do it more so more people have the experience. And they also had with your ticket you got like a little like it was like a little shirt that was like Mariners with like your team, so like I got like an Instinct one. It was pretty cool. So just a fun little event there.
Cute.
Okay, well that's good. Let's head on down to Kaz's corner because
Caleb's
I'm
not
about
gonna
double my
double his score
points.
this week.
I'm double my points. This
I
is the
believe
week.
in you.
I feel it. I know the formula now. I know it. There's no way you can ask me any question Pokédex. I'm going to get it
Are
this
you
week.
sure?
I already know.
You
I already know.
absolutely
Clip it
sure?
later. Clip it later for when I get it.
Okay, what if you
All right.
don't?
All right.
What if you don't?
Then you
Yeah,
have
what
to
if-
dye your hair, Tristan. All right, let's go. Let's get into this. You better hope
All
I get it right, Tristan.
Today in Kaz's Corner, our question is about Dreepy, a newly debuted Galarian Pokemon in Pokemon Go. So Dreepy is actually the ghost of a prehistoric Pokemon from what kind of environment?
Oh.
From what kind of environment?
Yes.
I've got an instant guess, I suppose, but
Caleb's not getting it.
Steve's with his hunches.
my sniffer's picking up
Alright.
something.
All right.
Wait, say the question again.
Dreepy is actually the ghost of a prehistoric Pokemon from what kind of environment?
So do
And
we
yes,
have to like?
You can Google a picture.
We're just telling you the environment
Yes.
it was in.
Yes. Yeah. You're just telling me the environment that it habitat, like that was its habitat when it was alive as a prehistoric Pokemon.
Okay.
Is this too specific of a guess? I don't know. Okay. You know,
right.
I'm gonna ditch my hunch, which I don't.
Uh-oh.
Go with your hunch
I'm
now,
gonna-
Steve. Usually,
Okay, I'll trust Caleb. I'll stoke. Thanks, Caleb. That's what I needed. I needed that
You're welcome.
confidence.
Caleb
And if you get it
Kaz's
right, I'll
corner
take
champion.
that point too. You know, as,
No. That's okay. I'll
the
I'll
moral
hold on.
support was this a team effort. You know, I could triple my points with this strategy. All right, I'm ready. Let's do
Okay,
this.
does everyone
Okay.
have something typed in?
I'm ready.
Yeah, Tristan,
Yeah, I'm
pre-order
good.
the hair dye just
I'm
in
good.
case.
I'm good.
All right. 1, 2, 3, send.
Yeah.
Okay, so Caleb says a water biome. Tristan says a wet, watery environment. And Steve says swamp. Tristan and Caleb are right. It is
Ah,
the
that's right.
sea.
I was gonna
The
change my answer to
sea.
I was
that.
gonna say ocean or sea or something, but
Yes.
I want to keep it general. You know, that's the. I doubled my points this week. Let's
No,
go.
no. Okay.
did!
If you were to take my
finally
plus
have
one,
See what happened? You can clip it. You can clip it, right? I said I was
no,
gonna do
you
it.
you
and I
cost me a
did.
point. Take my -1.
No, we established it's no team effort, right? It's no team effort. So that's
Oh
all.
my
No, you just said you
God.
wanted a team
You didn't-
effort.
Yeah, but then you all disagreed. You didn't. Steve
I
didn't
didn't
consult
say.
with me. You know?
I didn't
was
agree
just-
or disagree. So
I was supporting his intuition. Wait, what were you going to go with originally? Or that
No,
was what you were going to
so
go with originally.
that was my
What were you
hunch.
gonna-
I was then going to say ocean was what I was going to change to.
And that
So-
would have been right.
Well, should have
Alas.
trusted me, I guess.
Should've trusted that
Remind me
much.
to never listen to Caleb ever again.
Okay.
Yeah.
Duly noted.
Yeah.
So I was
Next time I'm
actually
just gonna say my
kind of
answer out loud so he doesn't do it.
I was actually kind of curious because the Galar region is based on like the UK, right? Like the
Yeah.
English,
Yeah.
England mostly, and the other surrounding islands. So I was actually curious about what kind of like water type fossils like had been found in that area, and it turns out in 2022 the gigantic remains of a pliosaur were discovered on the coast of Dorset, England.
what's a pliosaur again?
So it's actually,
okay.
it looks kind of like a dolphin with like a crocodile snout with like
Yeah.
massive teeth.
It's prehistoric, right?
It's horrifying looking, is what it is.
Hey now, I'm sure some other pliosaurs found each other's cute. You know.
I'm
Wait,
sure
are
they
there-
did.
are there
But to
any-
me,
What-
it makes me never want to go in the ocean.
Are there any like fossil
Oh,
Pokemon
yeah.
from Galar region?
Yes. I'm not sure of their names. I think, Caleb, you might have name dropped one last episode. But interestingly, I think the fossil Pokemon from that region, they're kind of like hybrids. Like they're
Oh,
sort of,
yeah.
like, weird mixes of like different tops and bottoms.
Dude, this thing is huge. too.
Dracozolt,
I know, right?
Arctozolt,
An orca
Dracovish,
is 33
Arctovish.
feet, 10
Yeah.
meters long,
Mhm.
and in comparison, a pliosaur is 52 feet, 15.2 meters long.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. And the fossil they found weighed 1,102 like pounds, 500 kilograms. Like it's
And that's just a
absolutely
bones.
wild.
Yeah, this
That's
thing's heavy.
wild. Yeah, it's actually one of the largest fully preserved like fossils for this species that has ever been discovered.
Is this what
it was-
Dreepy was? Interesting.
Well, I don't know if that's what it
Okay.
was,
Yeah,
but I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
the idea of Dreepy being like, because the Pokedex entry specifically says that Dreepy being reanimated as a ghost Pokemon like haunts
Yeah.
the spots that it used to live in as a prehistoric like seafaring Pokemon. So I kind of was like curious, about what seafaring Pokemon were. So I'm like, oh my god, Dreepy, you monster! You have been diminished, but are still strong. Because it's so small when it spawns in Go. Like, have you guys caught them in the wild yet?
Caught one.
Yeah.
Drake?
They're very small.
I haven't got
They
one
were
yet.
I
so
caught
tiny.
I think I caught one in the wild, and then I caught 2 more in the wild. They were both my daily spawn, which is kind of nice.
Dang.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
I was
wild,
like,
yeah.
man, I was like, I'm getting kind of lucky here.
Wait, Steve,
but-
you said
All
none?
mine have just been, yeah.
Wait, I thought you were
Yeah,
the
no,
number one
I've-
grinder.
Look, I'm waiting for the rank 1 to be my first catch. You know.
yeah, he's been grinding the Dynamax instead. I feel like, but
Actually,
Oh
no.
my
The reason
God.
I haven't been picking it up is because they haven't been a 3-star, and I'm really trying to finish off my 3-star Pokedex.
yeah,
True.
but he's trying to do 2 bursts 1 stones. He's waiting for the 3-star shiny.
Yeah.
So it's going to be a couple years before he gets his first 3P.
It's
Yeah,
waiting
yeah,
till Community Day.
Well, probably Go Fest release first. For the
True.
most
Yeah,
part.
I'm sure.
You're gonna shell out on those raids, those 1-star raids.
No, I'll get it. 1 and done. Lock it in. I don't need to do Debbie Pebble grind and those, Gibbles or whatever it happened to be. That one Go
Oh
Fest.
wow!
Yes.
So if my segment is the Poly slander, yours is definitely the Debbie Pebble slander. I thought it was a Perth slander, but I think it's actually more personal than
Perth
that.
Perth
Wait,
slash
no.
Debbie Pebble.
Man, is she still does a
Anytime those Go
podcast
Fest
with
raids
you?
come up.
Uh,
Hey, how long did
Hey,
Annika last with Caleb?
Don't let that be an issue. I mean, if you look at every one of my past podcast hosts, this is like how it goes. Someone has to be the butt of the joke, and when there's only one person, it ain't me. So let's just put it that way. It's not gonna be me. Anyway, let's get into some GBL. So, anyone hit veteran yet?
no.
Anyone have elo yet?
Does
Has
Actually, it's a
anyone
better
played
question.
battles this last week?
Okay, I'll say, right, and this will lead into our T topic more. I played a decent amount of battles at first. Dude, the game issues are kind of wild. I talked about this before, right? I have an iPhone 15 Pro Max, right? The newest iPhone, right? I have plenty of storage, so it's not my storage filling up. I have fiber internet, so Wi-Fi, and I play on it, and I do the whole airplane mode, do not disturb, whatever. And even I'm freezing up. I'm losing frames all over the place, dude. And that's not even the thing. It's not even just I'm losing frames. There's been multiple battles where I'm literally battling and just everything freezes.
Yeah.
I restart the app right away because I'm like, I ain't gonna get back in this. I restarted, come back. I've waited before, nothing happens. I've waited, so I restarted the app before as well to like go back into it. Battle cannot be recovered. Is the first thing I see.
Yep.
Can't even submit a freaking log to it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, that's happened to me. I mean, I'm an Android player, so like, yeah, I'm.
it's even worse for you.
Oh,
Then.
no.
I'm infuriated
Yeah.
all the time at the state of it,
Yeah.
And there are definitely lots of games where I am in like the winning scenario. Like there's no way I'm gonna lose this,
Mhm.
right? And then the game just crashes, and I'm like, sounds about right. Sounds about right. And it's really infuriating in that scenario when you're like, I literally knew that I was going to win this. And that just can't be recovered, can't be undone. And it definitely affects your psyche, like in just continuing to play the game.
Yeah. So no one's at better. Oh, you have elo though. You said.
I do, yeah.
What's your elo at?
It was kind of low when I got it, but I've been climbing a little bit because I found some good Ultra League teams that ended up working.
Yeah.
So I'm in the low 2200s right now.
Okay, that's pretty good. That's not bad. No one else has
Happy-
elo here. I
Happy
don't.
with that.
I didn't even play last week. It was Ultra League and Little Cup, so I just skipped out.
Dude, I
Yeah.
already know if Tristan loses this, he's maxing out that Shadow rank 1 Galarian Weezing. That's what whoever gets veteran, that should be the request. Honestly, that's not a bad request at all. It's a good Pokemon. I could have made you,
it's not a
if we
bad
really want to
Pokemon.
be evil, we make you max out the other Shadow coughing you have.
Yeah, you're scrolling through them on the screen, and we're like, no, not that one.
Maybe we could keep that on the table just in case, keep him on his toes a little bit. Keep him
What if it doesn't
motivated.
get evolved?
Huh?
If it's not evolved, it's not a Galarian Pokemon.
Well, you
Yeah,
have
that's
to evolve
true.
it. We
That's
dictate.
true.
We dictate.
Yeah.
You have to evolve it.
You're really trying to look. Okay, fine. If you want that, then I'll make you max out Passimian or whatever the heck. If you want to do that instead.
Yeah.
Yeah. I know you got those XLs from Yokohama, so I know you can bump that monkey up quite a bit. you better be searching for that Hundo Passimian because you can feel even now. You have a reason to grind that, man, because you're like, who's going for 100% Passimian? Oh wait, that's me.
Yeah.
Okay, well, we'll see how it goes. I mean, its current state of the game is definitely been a little rough because I think
Yeah.
it's like it got really bad, at least for me personally, when the Max event started. I feel like it could be
Yeah, for
coinciding with
sure.
Dynamax, but who knows? Because I think they both
Mm.
happened around the same time.
Well, I
But
will say I also had this is not necessarily GBL related, but it is related to just kind of state of the game. I had an issue, I think it was like last Thursday maybe or Wednesday night where like I finished some special research, like I evolved my Drizzile into the Inteleon to finish that step of the research. And my entire research, like all like timed with the GBL research, the daily stuff that like you get from spinning stops and the special research, like all of them went haywire. Like my daily tasks like disappeared. My GBL research disappeared. The special research like all had their like code names, not like their actual titles. And it kept like doing this, and then I would spin a stop and it would come back to normal, and then it would like just randomly like disappear again. And I was like, what is happening? And more people that I talked to on Discord were like reporting that like, across a couple days before it actually got fixed like over the weekend. So yeah, this Dynamax thing that they introduced kind of broke the game, I think, in a lot of very small, tedious ways.
It's
And it's making
Steve's fault for doing too many Dynamaxes.
Guys,
it's that
I
shiny
was-
Max Squovit.
I was just trying to support the Dynacats podcast, but apparently, that's a bad thing these days. But wow, whatever.
But yeah, a lot of it seems to be coinciding with this event kind of making a more tedious player experience overall.
Yeah, I definitely had the thing a few times. I don't know if it was triggered the same way, but I think I just like opened the game and I didn't notice all the other researches, but just my field researches had all like totally disappeared. And then I think I just like restarted the app and they came back, but I had that happen a few times randomly as well. So yeah, I don't know. The game's been a mess, but
yeah. Anyway, let's get into the championship series and the T topic because they're kind of related.
That's kind of where we're leading anyway.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get into championship series stuff first because I think it's more pressing. But we had the Baltimore Regional, which was the first regional of the 2025 season, first official big tournament. So there were how many people that went to it?
there was a
170
lot.
something, I think.
There was a lot, yeah.
I think
was
it
a
might. I
very
think it was
live
the
tournament.
biggest NA regional we've ever had.
What?
Really?
Really?
Yeah.
No, it's not. I don't think so, right?
182.
182.
Yeah,
How much was Hartford?
I think it was like 167 or something.
Luckily, we have Draco is here to save the day.
Oh, yeah, you're right. It's
169,
169.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah,
that's
wow.
good. The game's growing. 182. So pretty big, pretty massive. We didn't hit two. Oh yeah, no, 256 would be kind of hard to hit, to be honest.
Yeah,
but
that's
I was
a
like, because
big
then we would
ask.
have had like a top 32. But yeah,
Yeah,
but
I mean-
definitely enough for a top 16 and
a
a
lot
lot
of
of
people-
championship points.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are excited by the move changes and the switch timer change and stuff. I know that's what
Yeah.
got Wdage
Yeah.
to compete.
Well, he
Yeah.
has to defend his. Oh no, it was Pittsburgh.
was
Never mind.
Pittsburgh.
I thought. I
Yeah,
thought he was like
right.
defending.
But
yeah,
he
Baltimore
did-
didn't happen.
He did
Yes.
win the first tournament of the season 2 seasons in a row.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he did. I mean, I'm sure he did some scrims prior because he hasn't played the game as much. But hey, whatever he did, it worked out.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was him and I mean, there's a lot of people that went, but at the end of the day, it was between him and Elite in the grand finals, and he was coming in from the loser side as well.
He was
It's
coming
true.
from the
It's a
loser
bracket
side, and he
reset.
was down 2-0.
Yeah,
He
he had a
zero.
reverse sweep.
He
Yeah.
had a reverse sweep, and then when
Okay,
The-
here's the thing I don't get about the teams here. And you know what? I'll throw the teams on the screen right now so that people can see it.
You're talking about
But-
like the Dracoviz graphic?
Yeah, the Dracovic
Of all
graphic.
the- of
Actually, I'll
all
just
the-
include it from the beginning here, so people
of
already
all the
seen it.
teams from
Yeah.
day 2, right? Yeah.
Yeah, of day 2.
Can you send that
But
to us too, so I don't have to pull it up?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can
but,
send it.
Jesus,
up,
all right,
God.
okay, here.
I downloaded this earlier.
Yeah, you just have to Google it or go on X. But anyway, that being said, Elite's team was super weak to Clodsire. I was actually really surprised and impressed that he even made it onto the winner side into grand finals and didn't lose to anyone except for Wdage, being that weak to Clodsire. Because he has
Yeah.
the
He
mirror,
only,
he has
really has the
Feraligatr,
Feraligatr.
and he has
That's it.
4 losing matchups after that. And the
Mhm.
losing matchups are not that close either. I guess Drapion and Cresselia can be kind of close. It just beats Mandibuzz pretty hard. And then it
mean-
it just walls off Machamp.
Yeah.
And
It
he
wasn't
was
a
still-
future.
Like,
Was it
that's a
future
good case
sight
to run
crest?
Primate, in my opinion, over Machamp, right? But just for
Yeah,
some better coverage.
It wasn't a future sight crest either.
I don't think
No,
so.
it wasn't. No.
Yeah.
No,
And he
I don't
was
think
running
it was
the
a
Mach-
future sight.
I didn't watch a ton of the stream, but I swear every time I saw him playing, he was using the Machamp too, which was even crazier.
He did use a decent amount. I mean, into Wdage's team, it kind of makes sense because it's good into 3 matchups, right?
Yeah.
And
Wait, 3?
but the thing is,
Which
Wdage is going to
3?
bring Dunsparce, Chestnut, and
Oh, is it that good
Alolan
in
Sage Slash.
Chestnut? I don't know the Chestnut.
It's not that
at
good,
all.
but like it's just like it outpaces, right? So like he could win that if
Yeah.
he shields. I mean, like
Right.
it's uncomfortable either way, right? But
Chestnut wins the ones, I think.
yeah. So he could win switch advantage if he wants to, right? But the thing is, switch advantage doesn't matter so much for him because if he wins switch advantage, Wdage comes in with Clodsire, you just soak up all the energy. It doesn't matter if you left with energy. Now Wdage up a shield with Clodsire, and Clodsire beats everything on his team up a shield.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think that's the
Wdage
sort of,
is
like,
I remember watching that well, because he faced Wdage in 3 best of 5s actually, because he faced him in the winners
Mhm.
finals
Yeah.
first and then twice in grand finals. But like I was actually shocked that he won the winners finals so easily because I was like, his team is so weak to Clodsire. How's he doing this? But Wdage did have Sludge Bomb on his Clodsire. I think a decent amount of people had Sludge Bomb, which I think is a pretty smart choice. Zuma's pretty common. You
Yeah.
play into like the grass types as well too. Like I mean,
Mhm.
like Superior and Chestnut particular. Like jump off your Stone Edge is fine, but it seemed like Superior is the more common grass, which I think makes sense because jump off just felt kind of weird, hard to run. I think
Yeah,
out of the
well,
top
'cause-
32, the top 16 is just House Stark
Yeah.
with
Right.
jump off.
Yeah, because the Superior is like sort of a core breaker to the Stone Edge Claude plus for Alligator core.
Yeah.
Or Stone Edge Claude plus Azumarill
Yeah,
core.
the Stone Edge
so,
does not do enough.
Mhm.
so having that Sludge Bomb for that matchup does make sense.
Yeah.
Um,
Makes you
Yeah.
better to Azu too, and there's a decent amount of Azumarill. There's actually more
and
Azumarill
I
on
tell
Top
you
Cut
what,
than
it definitely makes that Chestnut matchup worse.
yeah. No, Chestnut as well. Yeah. But Elite didn't have it though. Elite only had the Stone Edge Earthquake variant, right?
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I think the thing about this meta, in some sense, and why Elite's team like can succeed even against like a Clodsire meta, is that it sort of does feel like switched advantage is less important, and getting that possibility of an energy farm down, any sense of an energy advantage. Like, you know, you're allowed to soft lose to a Clodsire and then sort of, you know, get some amount of energy, and then you're in a pretty good spot against like a lot of other Pokemon, especially with like Elite squad. Like, you know, you put a little bit of energy on Shadow Feraligatr, we all know that that's, you know, recipe for success. And so if you can get yourself in that sort of scenario, you actually put yourself in a really strong position when you've only got a 50-second switch timer. So it sort of makes sense in my head. It's
definitely. But yeah, Clodsire definitely came to play. It was highest usage in day number 1, and
Yep.
I
Only
definitely
Certainly
highest
day number
usage in
2.
day number 2 too. Yeah.
Yeah.
for
Only
sure.
4 teams like in day number 2 did not have Clodsire.
Yeah.
and I think only 5 didn't have a Azumarill.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's
there
true.
was
yeah, you're right. Yeah.
was it 5? But 3 of the 5 were on the winner's side though. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, the only 5 didn't have it. There were a lot of teams that actually didn't have Feraligatr, which I was actually a little bit surprised because
Yeah.
I was actually very surprised by that.
so
I
good.
thought, because it's like you see it nonstop when you do GBL. Great
I think
League,
it's better than
Ultra League,
Clodsire.
It's both. Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
This-
Clodsire is very unique in its coverage, but like Clodsire just like hard loses to a few things, like Digger Speed, like it just hasn't time to play. Whereas like
Mhm.
Feraligatr, like almost a vast majority of things in this meta have to shield on a safe swap Feraligatr. You don't have
Yeah.
to shield on a
Yeah.
safe swap Clodsire as much.
I feel like the only
Yeah.
thing that I can think of is that if people were making the meta read that Azumarill was going to be very good, which it seems like they did, considering 11 out of the top 16 teams had Azumarill, I think at times it can be a little tricky to make a team that has Clodsire and Azumarill and Feraligatr. So they
That's what I
might
had this past weekend. I put in my cup. It felt fine though. But
I mean,
the Azumarill was never a problem for my team, right? Because like Feraligatr and Clodsire both have play into it, and they both technically
I'm
win
not
it.
saying
Shields up, right?
right. I wasn't saying Azumarill was a problem. I'm just saying if people were making the meta read that they thought Azumarill was going to be very good, then they may have felt that it was too hard to fit both Azumarill and Feraligatr into a team. Because if you look at
I
Which
think
there
that is
are a lot.
fair because I did struggle against a few superior in my local cup.
Because
So
like if you look at
Yeah.
these top cut teams, there's very few teams that have both Feraligatr and Azumarill. I think there's only like one or
there's
two teams that have both.
2 in the top 8.
Mhm.
And then
yeah,
there's
there's 3
Bopper in top
total,
16.
I think.
Yeah.
But there's a bunch of
mean-
teams with double water though, right?
Yeah.
Let me
Yeah,
see.
yeah.
There's Elam's team has double water.
But I mean, I think the
Tomahawk's
reason
team is like kind of
Azumarill-
water, but like the touch specs doesn't really count in my opinion because you have a lot of play. Like Sceptile
I
Ice
think
as
the
well, but like
reason
it's
that
Seal
as
deal.
Azumarill is still up there, as a water type when Feraligatr is there, is the same reason that we always see it in the top. It's just like the bulk is so nice to have, especially when you compare it to the other top water, which is Feraligatr and is made of glass.
I ran a bunch of like ABB like double water backlines too. Like if they have a superior on your team, you say soft Feraligatr, and like usually the superior is the only thing that could check it, so they have to bring it in if they have it. And there were times where like they didn't, like my opponents didn't even
Mhm.
bring superior into the team or jump bluff, whatever, right? But like I thought it was actually really solid, like safe strategy to just like I would lead like a Feralthorn or something that beats like grass, and I'll just say swap Feraligatr, and if they come in, they have to shield the Ice Beam or potential Ice Beam. So I'm already up a shield no matter what, and I might be able to even bait him with Hydro Cannon and grab a second shield or even flip switch, right? If I'm crazy with the baits, but
Yeah.
I guess it depends on the grass type too.
I
that
mean
I'm
that's
facing,
definitely
but
valid. I'm just saying like
yeah.
and I see what you're saying and I think that could work, but just for looking at the top 16 here, for whatever reason that didn't work or wasn't the route that people went. Like
Yeah. I know. I get what you're saying too, and obviously you're not like in this area, so you're just like theorizing, right? Why that might be the
Yeah.
case, which I think is totally valid.
I think it's also harder to plan that kind of, I don't know. I think it's a little bit harder to do that in the show 6 format. Like cuz it's pretty easily broadcast, right? If you have Feraligatr and Azumarill on your team, like your opponents kind of assume that like, oh, double water, really strong in this meta. So I think it's a little harder to run in the show 6 format than it might be in something like GBL. That's just
no,
Yeah.
Caleb was saying he ran it in a cup though.
I ran it my cup this past weekend.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Like so it's
6-0.
6, but I also the other thing I can think of is that Dunsparce seemed pretty popular, and so maybe people were wanting to run a Azumarill to help protect the Dunsparce better from any potential fighters like Machamp or Pangoro, I guess. Even though Tomahawk, I think was
Well, Azumarill is better into Dunsparce than Feraligatr is because
That too, yeah.
the Shadow Claw alone like doesn't do anything to Dunsparce, and your Shadow Feraligatr, even though I don't think it actually resists the Rock type damage either.
No, they would just go drill run anyway. So
yeah. So no, I mean from the rollout.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
You're right.
No, definitely not.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like Shadow Feraligatr is like doing nothing with those fast attacks, whereas Dunsparce can get to its moves pretty quickly while doing damage.
Right.
So,
Azumarill does lose the 1s and 2s though against Dunsparce, which is kind of wild.
That's
But how
IV
close is
dependent
it?
though.
Yeah.
Well,
There's a rollout.
I send
break
mine.
point.
Okay, I send. What? Well, you don't need a breakpoint because I have a
Break
really high rank
points!
one. Yeah, let me sim this real quick. I assume most of you are running a high rank Azumarill, right? Because like it's a bulky Pokemon. There's
By
not a lot of
now.
reason not to.
Yeah.
Wait, let
Well,
me sim
most
this real
people.
quick. 'Cause am I tripping here? I'm pretty sure
Hey, number
you
one
don't
grinder.
need no breakpoint. Yeah.
I'm going for those attack breakpoints.
Oh, maybe you do actually.
Um.
Well, this is going straight Ice Beam, which is kind of wild.
So So looking
maybe you
at
do need a
the
breakpoint.
top 12 from
Yeah.
day 2 graphic, like I'm not really surprised by our sort of top 6 Pokemon. Those all seemed like very popular picks, even in Open GBL
Yeah.
meta. The bottom 6
Well,
of
so
the
can you
top
name the 6
12.
for those that
Oh,
the
yeah.
audience?
So Cloudsire's number 1, Azumarill's number 2.
74%.
And this is and this is day 2 top 12.
Day
not
2.
day
Okay,
1.
okay, not day
Yeah.
1. Okay.
Yeah, not day 1. This is day 2, so all of our top 16. Then you've got Superior at number 3, Dunsparce at number 4, Shadow for Alligator at number 5, and Cresselia at number 6. Those all seem pretty standard for like the open Great League meta that we
Cresselia didn't even make top 12
wait,
on
how
day
does-
1, which is kind of wild.
That's crazy, right?
Yeah.
But the
Didn't know to
bottom
read.
of the top 6, you've got Shadow Typhlosion at the top, Diggersby or at number 6, Diggersby at number 7, Talonflame at number 8. Galarian Moltres is finally allowed now, and people brought it.
It's not good. It's not good.
I don't know.
I every time I saw it on
Several
stream, at least for the
times
games I
over.
watched, it lost to a Chestnut, and Chestnut's double weak to flying. Like I don't know,
but it
it's too
doesn't have-
frail. It beats
yeah.
Mandibuzz, right, with the ancient power and just like paces faster. But like, I think these like what do you call it, Legends United people are like trolling a little bit with it. I don't know. I scrimmed.
And then you've got-
I scrimmed Arrow with his Galarian Moltres, and he only won because I misplayed, and that was it. And he never won a single other game.
I
with
mean,
it, so.
Alum, I will say,
And then
Alum
we,
ran it and Pocket ran it, and neither of them are Legends United. So it's just
That's true.
Oh, right. Elam used to be, I guess. That's why I got confused. Pocket ran it too?
yeah. Pocket ran
Okay,
Arrow's
Pocket was
team.
the other one. Sorry, I thought it was like Stark that ran it. Okay.
Pocket
And then
ran
we,
Arrow's exact team.
Well, yeah, so they definitely did a lot of brainstorming together, right? I think Elam
Yeah.
ran a very... I don't know. His team was a little bit different, but they definitely scrimmed. I
And
don't
then we
know. I think like
round
that's
out
one of those
the-
things like they just like... They just overcooked a little bit in the kitchen, I think. I don't know. But anyway...
We
I mean,
round out
my
the top
days.
12 with Shadow Drapion and Arctibax. So, like, that's a wild, like, 6 through 12.
I'll
Like,
say-
just with the
Murphy
variety
and
there.
Bob running Arctibax.
If
Wild.
Ilum overcooked and got third, like, can't complain there.
Well, I know,
Yeah.
but I'm just saying, like, if he had something more reliable, he could have won the whole thing. You know,
I
that's
mean,
all
I
I'm
don't
saying.
disagree with that.
Yeah,
All you're
Yeah,
saying.
because like the
I
Galarian
think
Moltres,
I'm maybe won him some games like off stream or whatever. At least the ones I saw on stream, like it was not doing any of them any favors.
right?
at
Because
least,
it's just
but-
like it's. I saw a couple battles of a couple different people running it, and like I saw it against like Shadow Machamp and against Chestnut, and like
dude, I'd rather
it's
be the
not-
Machamp in that situation.
right
Yeah.
or the Chestnut even because it's like it has to go all the way to a Brave Bird to actually do any damage to them.
I mean, you
So
could
it's-
also go for the baits, but it just gets so tricky if they don't shield, right?
If they call
All
the
that
bait,
stuff.
you're in such a bad spot, and it's like
Yeah.
your sucker.
And you're
punch isn't
thinking like,
doing it.
oh, versus a Chestnut too. Like even if you debuff yourself with Brave Bird, they're just throwing resisted Vine Whips. So those Vine Whips start adding up, right? Like
Yeah,
against
'cause-
like a Mandibuzz, you can't even see the health go down, but
right,
you could
yeah.
definitely see the health go down on Galarian Moltres.
Well, because I saw there was a battle. I think it was Wdage versus Ilum, and Wdage did have to go down a shield. He double
He went on
shielded.
2 shields. He
right.
double shield,
Well,
but he
He
just
went
came
down
out
a
with, like, million
shield because
energy.
he was one shield less. Because Ilum shielded once.
Yeah. I would just explain to them that
Right.
he spent both
Yeah.
shields, right?
He spent
Went
both shields, but he ended up Vine Whipping down because the Moltres ended up double debuffed from Brave Birds. And
Dude,
so
the
he
the
Vine
frenzy
Whipped-
plant did like almost half its health too. I remember.
No,
like
yeah,
in-
it
I
was
think it's
half-
before the Moltres was even
yeah.
debuffed.
It was before his debuffed, but then even after that, he just double shields Vine Whips down and came out with like almost 2 Frenzy Plants worth of energy. Like that is not
Yeah.
a good time being a flying type against something double weak to flying. Like that's not what you want.
And no hate on these players that are using Galarian Moltres, right? Like, obviously, like, maybe it worked out in scrims, and maybe have worked out in off-stream matches, and maybe they wouldn't have even gotten this far without it, but I just don't think it's that good. I
and
think
it's-
you're better off. If you
We'll-
really want
we'll
a
have
Dark
to-
Flyer, just run
yeah.
Mandibuzz, in
I
my
agree.
We'll
opinion.
have to see if it continues on.
It's just-
yeah. I mean, there were only 2 teams in the top 16 that had Mandibuzz.
Yeah, it's
That's
just.
crazy.
I
it's-
think
it's just
Mandibuzz
a-
is not the easiest to use, so I get that, but
I feel
yeah.
like the Moltres just has an awkward moveset too. Like I saw a
Yeah.
couple times where it was like
Mm-hmm.
late game and they had energy against like a full health crest, and it's like they have to Brave Bird, but the Brave Bird doesn't even KO.
Yeah.
And it's
Just
just
run
like
Brave Bird
anything-
Talonflame at that point. I don't get
Yeah,
it because like you're still going to
anything
lose to
that
Zumo,
runs-
right? So
anything that relies on Brave Bird, like for its damage, is just it's a toss up, right? You're betting a lot on, you know, it's a like high risk, high reward sort of thing.
take it from
I
our
think
Bird
the
Coming
X
from
Moltres
the
And it
Bird
could
X.
go- and
does
it could go
beat
the opposite
Azumarill
way.
somehow. I think. Let me double
Probably
check.
with Brave Bird, you know, it depends
No,
on
never
landing
mind.
multiple.
This Galarian Moltres
multiple
needs a
Brave
2-0
Birds.
shield advantage to win it. So maybe it's like a high rank one. I don't know. I could have sworn there was something. No, it doesn't.
I
What
mean,
is it
maybe-
for? It
maybe-
just beats like Talonflame and Mandibus, maybe? I don't know.
maybe
But-
it's better in a Clodsire or something. I don't know.
No, the freaking Talonflame beats in the 1s and 2s as well. What?
I mean,
And
maybe
this is not even Flame Charge Talonflame.
maybe it's slightly better for Alligator because it resists the Shadow Blast.
But there's just you can get like one shot from like one Hydro Cannon,
I
right?
know,
Like Mandibus is
I
better
know.
there. Okay, so
Listen,
the
I
Galarian
know.
Moltres beats the Mandibus in the 0s and the 2s, but loses to 1s.
Dang,
That's like a rank 1 Galarian Moltres.
Does
I
it
mean,
even?
maybe they were trying to make a prediction that Mandibuzz was going to be a bigger problem than it ended up being.
Does
'Cause
it beat
Mandibuzz
like
is pretty
Clodsire or
popular.
something?
But like, yeah,
Mandibuzz is pretty popular in like Open Great League, like in GBL. So like, I don't know, maybe their
no,
meta predictions
Clodsire
are just slightly
Clodsire wins
wrong.
everything. They tie on the 1s, but that's wait. Let me just like a high rank Clodsire maybe. No, high rank
Mandibuzz was
Clodsire
such
even wins the
high.
1s. High rank Clodsire
weird.
wins everything except for the 2-0 down 2 shields. It ties in the down 1 shield situation. I mean, it has like maybe a slight win con into Clodsire that Mandibuzz doesn't have, but like it's not much.
Yeah. For
Okay, let's
sure.
see Sludge Bomb. If it doesn't beat the Sludge Bomb, yeah, that's bad. It loses the 0s and the 1s to Sludge Bomb Clodsire.
Which Mandibuzz
would not
beats.
lose that.
Yeah, Mandibuzz beats that.
Yeah.
And that
Yeah,
is
Mandibuzz
something
beats-
I was gonna mention when we're
Clodsire does win the
the
2s though
Sludge
versus
Bomb
Mandibuzz.
Claude before is
Sludge
like
Bomb.
if people do switch to Sludge Bomb Claude, that makes Mandibuzz safer, and it
Yeah,
also
but
makes Dugong
Clodsire
safer.
still wins the 2 shield though with
Yeah,
with
makes
Sludge Bomb,
Dugong
which kind of
safer
works.
is a great point.
You're gonna
as
double
well,
shield
'cause
your
Dugong has
Clodsire though.
come far. in the meta
I don't
as
know. Probably
well.
not. But I'm just saying. Yeah, Dugong. Yeah, that's a great point. Dugong definitely would get better in that respect too. But yeah, I don't know. Interesting meta reads for sure. I mean, hey,
Yeah.
making top cut at the largest NA regional is no joke. So to have 3 people make it with a Galarian Moltres is not easy. And I think the players they lost to were probably all pretty good. But
Yeah, I know
I was also
Arrow
really
lost to
impressed-
Wdage was his first loss in Top Cut.
Mhm.
was that on stream?
I don't know. I wasn't able to catch much of the stream. I
I
was fairly
saw
busy this
someone say
weekend.
something about how he also lost due to like a 1-turn lag.
Oh, there was a lot of that.
I
I also didn't wasn't able to watch most of the stream, but like just catching up to everything on Twitter, I was like, oh no.
Yeah. It was bad. You know what? I think this is a good segue for us to go into. But anyway, congrats to Wdage for winning yet again the first regional of the
And I-
year.
and I
All
have to
qualifies
say,
him.
I
He,
was
he also doesn't have to play in any more tournaments if he doesn't want to for the year, which is kind of nice.
I
Winning
have
that
to
first one was
say,
just so
I
nice. But
was skeptical of the Chestnut being in that world's distribution of like these Pokemon are going to be good next season because I was like, Chestnut isn't that good. It's not being buffed.
I
Why is
still
it
don't think it's
here?
that good. I think he just played really well.
But
Y'all
like,
just
I
naysayers.
think, I
I'm
think
not
it's.
here for this slander.
But like, I was
Yes.
when Kaz mentioned it last week, I was like, oh, that's interesting, and I started seeing like, oh, I can sort of understand why they put it in, and then like
Maybe,
Wdage
maybe.
using it too, like. I'm not saying
Okay.
it's going to be like central meta Pokemon, but I think it's a perfectly viable.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's why Wdage won though. Is the thing. I think he had a
I don't
really
think-
strong team
I don't think
composition
it's-
into elite, and
I
he
don't
just
think
played
it's
really well
why
in the other
he
sets. I
won.
think.
But I do think that Chestnut has some unique, its unique typing gives it some advantage against some of the stronger meta Pokemon. So if anything, it's like kind of an anti-meta read. I mean, it doesn't, like we said, it doesn't beat Clodsire except in the 1s, and that's if it's the Stone Edge Earthquake variant. Because I don't think it wins the Sludge Bomb one, but
No, it wouldn't.
pretty much everything else that we're looking at in this like top meta, I mean, it can win pretty easily. So I mean, I think it's kind of an anti-meta, slightly spicier grass pick. But grass has become kind of, a necessary part of this like watery and like Dunsparce meta.
Yeah. Look, I mean, I think in general, look, Wdage is he's probably one of the best meta readers in the world, and he sort of did the same thing at Pittsburgh last year.
Yeah.
In that he sort of took a look at what the meta was going to look like. He's obviously done a ton of scrims in the background. Like he sent a message out, sort of week of Worlds, saying like asking people for scrims. I think, and he's just able to see what is going to be able to break stuff up, on top of the fact that he's incredibly skilled at the game. So like in Pittsburgh, he was literally the only person in the entire season who won a tournament with Shadow Dragonite. And he was also running Defense Deoxys when everyone was running Metacham. Like he's, used to running these, like, not necessarily like insanely spicy picks, but like, just like off meta enough that it's like no one else is really thinking about this. And, it works for him every time. So
Yeah,
look,
and I would have
liked to have seen him at Worlds, but
yeah, I mean, I wasn't able to catch much of the grand finals, but like, I don't know how much he used the chestnut there, but like, it certainly got him to that point. Like, it won him that game against Ilum, like we talked about, where he had it against the Galarian Moltres, came out with a ton of energy, and then like swapped it out, and then got it aligned to the Gastrodon on the back, and just got to double frenzy, and took it out, sort of a deal. So like, I'm not saying it's like gonna be the most meta Pokemon going forward, but I think it's certainly viable and has a place in this meta, and it's better than I was giving it credit for. Because again, when I saw that Worlds distribution, and like they were like, "Oh, these Pokemon are gonna be good in the next season," and like the two I was skeptical of was the Chestnut and the Mantine. The Mantine I still don't understand, but I think
the Mantine
doesn't really make much sense.
What got buffed on Mantine?
Nothing. It just got Wing Attack nerfed.
Yeah, that's
so that one was a little weird, but
one.
The Chestnut,
if they buff water pulls, but
again, was just something that, again, I was doubtful of, and it's better than I gave it credit for, is what I'll say.
Yeah, I mean, it's a fighter that has play into Azumarill, right, and has coverage into Clodsire, but
and it beats Gator most of the time.
Are you going to Louisville, Kaz?
Yep.
Are you running
see that Chestnut on the squad then? Yeah, let's see it. If you don't have Chestnut,
I'm cooking up something.
I mean,
she shows up with Wdage's team.
I was gonna say worst case you just run Wdage's team.
Yeah. But instead of Powder Snow alone says there's a Shadow Claw. It's
we are of one mind on this.
Instead of Sludge Bomb, Clodsire.
Look, I mean, I think the team is fine. I think it's solid. I do think it's interesting, but also like against Serperior is really awkward, right? Like, aren't you double weak to Aerialways?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it just so that, like, what's the biggest benefit of it, right? Because you're also weaker into Cresselia.
You do survive the Aerial Ace from a Superior. Right?
the rationalization here is pretty wild.
And then you superpower and you run out.
I mean, I think that the rock resist to have a better Dunsparce matchup is probably one of the biggest.
I'll tell you, that's why
but Superior already beats Dunsparce though.
It's not as clean though.
Yeah, I guess not. I also worry, but this probably doesn't help Superior anyway, if more people start going to Sludge Bomb Clodsire, because Sludge Bomb Clodsire does look kind of strong.
Yeah.
What was the one matchup that was bad that you mentioned earlier? I mean, I know Mana Buzz, but there's something else I think that someone mentioned.
Bad for what? For Superior? For Clodsire?
But for Clodsire, if you're running Sludge Bomb over Stone Edge.
Oh, the Dugong.
Dugong, yes, yeah. That's a fair point.
I think Dugong could creep in as a bit of an anti-meta pick if people go to the Sludge Bomb.
I think that's a very solid assessment for sure. But yeah. So anyway, it was a great tournament, all things considered, but there were definitely issues with the game. A lot, at least on broadcast,
these issues
right?
have been resolved, guys.
Yeah, according to
The known
Niantic.
issues guide says so.
Oh my
Trust
Yeah,
me.
gosh, yeah, dude, the
this
known
is
issues
not an
page is
issue.
it's rough. I mean, though,
For
like for a game
anyone.
where, especially on the high level, right? But even on the not so high level, losing a turn or multiple turns is so critical, and
Mhm.
it's so annoying when because and look, I'm not blaming TPCI or anything for this, right? Because the rules are rules for a reason, and they probably just don't have a def win rule in general. But let's say if we both have the move, and we both, or I have a move and someone doesn't, and I lag a turn and I get KO'd before I can throw my move,
No,
right?
this happened on
And
stream.
they're not using a one turn. Yeah,
This
it's happened
happened on
multiple
stream.
times. Yeah, this
I
happened on
know at
stream. Like
least the
Haydan is a great
Haydonis,
example,
yeah.
right? Yeah, and you have to move. I forgot who was he facing in that situation. Was it Sceptile Ice?
Septile, yeah, the
Yes.
Septile
And
guy.
and so he had a move on Scudra. And this is just one example, right? This happened actually multiple times throughout the tournament, but let's just say this one example because I think this is actually very important. He couldn't get the move off on his Scudra, and it would have taken out Sceptile Ice's last Pokemon. His last Pokemon was on one turn move, so there's no way
Yeah,
that if the
it
game
was
was
a
working properly,
superior, so it's a
it was
two-turn
superior. Yeah,
Vine Whip.
there's no way that he should have gotten that Vine Whip down. Sceptile Ice conceding gave Haydan's the win, right?
Yeah.
So
Mhm.
great sportsmanship on Sceptile Ice's end. Um, but he didn't have to do that because if
Mhm.
he, by TPCI rules, that's just a rematch, right? Obviously, it sucks that happened to Haydonis, but the judge will look at that and they'll give a rematch to Haydonis in, I think, 10 out of 10 times, right? If it happens. And that sucks because if Sceptile Ice didn't have good sportsmanship or was just like, whatever, I want this, right? I want this win because, like, dude, honestly, like, also when you win these games, right, at especially if you climb the rankings or climb the positions in the tournaments, that's a couple $1,000s difference sometimes in terms of prize pool winnings, also championship points, and if it's in like in a grand finals, whoever, you can win the whole thing and qualify for worlds off of that one win, right? And you put people in a position where you're like, well, it's yours if you want to take it, or you can concede the win. But the judges aren't going to suggest that, right? So you have to have like you have
Mhm.
to be aware of like that's a win you shouldn't have gotten, and you have to have the sportsmanship and kindness to concede the win, right? Because you can't give it a win. And again, this is not TPCI's fault because they don't have a def win rule. Like that shouldn't like I don't think we
Yeah.
should even be in that situation where we are forcing players to give definitive wins. But it's just like this game right now is just not going well, and I think it was generally fairly good at Worlds, right? It wasn't like without hiccups, but it was generally fairly good outside of
Worlds
like
was
maybe like
quite smooth from what I could tell.
yeah, there were at least I think like two instances at least I saw it on broadcast, but that's not too bad, right? But this was like really bad, and they were consequential too. The lag, like I saw the
Mhm.
House Stark versus the Torian one, right? Like that should be a simul KO, and like it was a Dunsparce mirror. They're both at like 1 HP, and Torian got a rollout through before House Stark could for some reason, right? But it's just like it's really bad optics for the game, and it feels bad as a 10D, right? And also like spending all this money and stuff, and like it's not great for like broadcast either because then they're trying to explain, like they know it's like, oh, that's unfortunate. Well, yeah, I mean, what else can we say, right? Like so,
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on. I'm sure Niantic internally is discussing this, but it's just like we're on year 4 of the championship series, and my biggest fear is always that we become the next Pokken and they
Mhm.
just cut us out of the
Well,
circuit
we're
because it's
on.
just there's the participation numbers might not be as high or just way too many issues, and optics wise it just looks terrible. I don't know. I mean, the thing is like, yeah, like I think we have a lot, like it's cool and it's good that this is like the most amount of attendance we've had in North America regional so far, so that's a good way to start the season off. But at the same time, I'm seeing a lot of people on the internet be like, dude, the game is so bad. Like, we should boycott going to these events, blah, 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 all this stuff. And some people tell me, don't boycott events because then, like, that's just going to punish us later from TPCI. Might not think it's worth hosting events. But, I get all the different perspectives, right?
Yeah.
But you even have Accent, the previous world champion, tweet about, how bad the state of the game is. And
Yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, a
it
lot
does.
of
You don't
people
have to be
have.
a world champ to even notice how bad
Yep.
it is, to be
Well, and
honest.
not only
But
are we on year 4 of the championship series, we're on year 6 of PvP. Like,
yeah,
Mhm.
yeah. It's, it's not
And
good.
they just keep, giving us really no sign that they're even listening. you know, to these issues that we bring up that are fairly consistent, you know? And I mean, at the bare minimum, we've just asked for like, hey, can you maybe go back to having some dev diaries so we know, you know,
Yeah,
when
Not
just
even
say
that. I
something.
think people just
Again.
want to see like the known issues page be accurate and updated.
yeah.
I think
Yeah.
that's one of the biggest complaints is like this was marked as resolved in the known
Yeah.
issues guide
But
and
not
has
resolved.
not been, and me, I don't think it was ever resolved, but let's just say theoretically that it was resolved for a brief period of time.
Yeah.
Then after it comes back, it should be added back into the known issues guide because it's no longer resolved. But the
Yeah.
fact that, again, I don't think it was ever resolved, and the fact it was marked as resolved is puzzling to say the least. But
Mhm.
again,
Dude, it's just
either way, it should be added back in at a minimum. I think that's part of the biggest complaint too, is the fact that
Yeah.
Niantic has basically publicly said this is fixed, and it's not only is it not fixed, it's like getting worse. Like we're seeing this problem happening more and more
And
and
it will
more.
be interesting to see because we were just talking about how this is the largest NA regional that we've had. And it's because people were excited about a new meta, excited about the new timer, excited to play in kind of a new game state after the height of Worlds. And to say that, you know, I saw a lot of trainers disappointed is, you know, putting it lightly. And so it'll be interesting to see what the numbers of regional attendance continue to be if there's no kind of update to this issue that we all saw very visibly, you know, when we could watch the stream.
Hey, Kaz, they are
Yeah.
playing in a new game state. It's just not the game state anybody wants.
Just not the game state we wanted.
And it's like the thing too is like beyond that, like not all these problems are present on the official broadcast because they are using like iPhones and stuff. But like I know, and we talked about this before, like frame drops are running rampant. Like there's other sorts of like lag and stuff. I know, like for like the last week of Battle Frontier, like our teammate Palmer's up had to play I think like 5 game 1s,
Oh, Lord.
and then they literally rescheduled. They were supposed to play on Saturday. They played 5 game 1s and then rescheduled games 2 and 3 until Sunday because the game state was so bad.
Yeah.
So like,
and I think Auburn also had to play 5 different games too.
something like that,
wild.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like, it's not just limited to GBL. It's not just limited to the Play Pokemon tournaments. It's not just Android. Like it's Android and iPhone.
Yeah.
It's happening in
Yeah.
grassroots, Play Pokemon, GBL, everywhere. And like,
It's not just Android.
there's a whole laundry list of problems. Like the one-turn lag has been probably the most prevalent and the most problematic and the most visible in that Baltimore stream, but that's not the
But
only
just the straight up
problem.
freezes, you know? Like I played in a local
Yeah.
tournament and it was the last Pokemon on both sides, and both of us thought we had a win condition there and just straight up froze. And this is before Worlds, right? But that's like, I'm just saying, like those issues translate over to friendly battles too, not even just GBL.
Yep,
But
freezes, general lag, the one-turn lag, frame drops, like the list goes on and on. There's just,
I'm really nervous for Joinville as well because it's coming. What is that? Is that this upcoming weekend?
it's 2
next
weeks.
weekend.
It's the same
2
weekend
weeks,
as
okay.
Dortmund.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah,
so that one's not streamed, right? There's no like unofficial stream for that either, so you can't really see the issues. But they all have only Androids for their phones,
Yep.
so that also doesn't help. And also, it's a Brazilian tournament, and all Brazil's like on lockdown for X, so we can't even see what issues they have potentially, right? They might be talking about this on Facebook and Discord, but I don't know. I'm actually confused. 'Cause I saw trainer Steiner actually post a couple tweets in the past few days. So
Well,
maybe the ban's
VPNs
lifted in
exist.
Brazil. Yeah, but that's like an $8,000 fee though. If you're caught, and like
Yeah, if you
you
get
could go to
caught,
jail and all this stuff. Like it's not worth, I think. Because when Butters was in Brazil, did I tell you all about this?
Yeah.
So when he was in Brazil, you know how he posted that video of him like his like little sticky note drawings, right? So he made that back when he was in Brazil, and he was going to post it, and then he was like talking to some of the casters, and he's like, "Oh, like I'm thinking about posting this, but I don't know if I should because there's a ban here." I was like, "Yeah, don't do it. Like even with VPN, like you get fined like $8,000 if they find out and all this stuff. Like it's not worth it, right?" So that's why like when he posted it, I was like, My comment was like, I'm just imagining this with like this post costing you $8,000, right? Which a lot of people didn't understand if they didn't know the context. But he made that right back when he's in Brazil. But
I guess maybe
That makes so much
Yeah.
sense because
Yeah.
it was clearly recorded like before the meta change happened, and then like he posted it like
'cause
at
he
the
didn't
meta
have the entry
change, and I
values
was like,
yet.
oh
Yeah.
yeah.
That does make a lot more sense now that I'm thinking about it. You could potentially, like, if you're an LNDS trainer, like, I mean, I guess you could give your account details to someone else, like in another
Yeah.
region, to post for you.
That's a
like,
lot
if
of
you
work.
really feel
That's
you feel
all
it's
the work.
important
Yeah.
enough. I don't know.
Post for
I
me,
don't-
and I won't even get to like see all the likes and
See the
comments.
engagement. Yeah.
Yeah.
I
Send
don't
me
know, maybe
screenshots
the bans
back.
are lifted. Yeah, for those that
Screenshots every
unfortunately-
time I get a leg.
Anyway, it's the Joinville tournament. I have a lot of very worried about as well, and hopefully in 2 weeks time Niantic can get some things fixed. But I'm telling you all a story, right? Because I did a cup this past weekend as well in
Mhm.
my local community, and we had a decent amount of people going. Like it was like 4 rounds Swiss, 4 people make top cut, so a decent amount of people showed up. And I'm gonna just use pseudonyms, right? Because I don't want to expose name people if they don't want to be named. But my first opponent, let's just say his name was Jake, right? And and there was like a 1 turn lag at one point, right, where it prevented his Zoomer from charge attack pirating my Feraligatr. But I had a shield anyway, so I was going to shield the next play rough. I was like, unless you get to another Ice Beam or something, like I don't think it mattered, right? And he agreed afterward that it didn't matter. But it still kind of sucked. Game number 2 happened, right? And his phone storage was full, so he couldn't have the recording. But it was at one point where I had a Clodside versus Toxapex, and I got to the Earthquake on charge attack priority into his Toxapex on Brian, and the Brian would have taken me out. I did Zoomer on the back. So even though I landed Earthquake, like there's no way my Zoomer, no shields can take out Toxapex. But because he lagged a turn when we went for the charge attack priority, he couldn't throw the Brian. So then I swap in a Zoomer and I catch the Brian. And at that point, he's like, well, this is so scuffed, right? And he's trying to farm me down because he needs a Brian for it, but he couldn't farm down my Zoomer with just poison jabs because he also even undercharged the Brian and everything. Anyway, and then so that may end up mattering. He didn't have the screen recording, but I looked at mine. I was like, you know what? Yeah, like there's no reason I should have won that. Like, of course we could just rematch based on TPCI rules, but I was like, I'll give you the win for that. Like, it doesn't make any sense. Like, there's no way I win that, right? So I give him the win for that. Fast forward like 2 more rounds later, there's a dispute going on at a different table, right? It's between the same guy Jake and this other guy named Victor, and they're discussing, and it's a situation where Victor threw like 2 ice shards from his Dugong, so that's like 6 turns, right? And and it was into a Diggersby, and the Diggersby should have got because he threw Victor threw 2 icy winds and threw 2 ice shards, then threw icy winds, so that's 7 turns. So Victor should have got 4 quick attacks through, right, in that time period with his Diggersby, but he only got 3. It ended up mattering because he didn't get to the Scorching Sand as soon as he did. He ended up taking like an Icy Wind later on his like 3rd Pokemon that like cost him the game. Like he ended up losing Talonflame into Cresselia because the Cresselia only had to chip it down a little bit after the Icy Winds landed. Anyway, it should have mattered, right? Again, a situation. But again, it's like an awkward situation where it's just like, well, now like Victor's put in a situation where like he could potentially give a def win, right, for a game that he shouldn't have won or gone for a rematch. It also got more tricky because this is Jake's fault, right? But his, like I said earlier, his phone storage was full. He didn't have any room in his phone, so he couldn't screen record it. And then now Victor stuck with a decision. It was like, okay, technically that should be at least a rematch, right? You could give a def win if you want to, but that should be at least a rematch. But Jake didn't have the screen recording, so Victor could just take the free win if he wants to. And guess what he did? Yeah. He took the free win. And that feels bad. It was like round 3, right? I thought it was only 3 rounds in Top Gun, so like Jake would definitely been out of Top Gun, but apparently it was 4 rounds. So I didn't even realize that. But then Jake has a bye in the 4th round, right? He's like 2-2, right, with the bye. So he only won 1 game and then got the bye for the 2nd win. And then I had to face off against Victor, so I kind of, I beat Victor in that situation. But And then luckily it worked out for Jake. He ended up getting top cut somehow still on a 2-2. And he got it over Victor, who should have so I guess like it kind of worked out. Like, I wouldn't say like karma, because like Victor didn't really do anything wrong, but he did, like, he's put in a weird situation where he just takes a free win, right? Where like all things considered, it probably should have been rematch, but also like there shouldn't even be any discussion of rematch if the game just worked. Which is like so awkward.
Yeah.
And just
Right.
like they're just like,
Yeah.
and we're like using iPhone, we're on Wi-Fi and everything. Like there's like one
Yeah.
turn lag all the way throughout, right?
Yep.
Throughout that whole tournament. It's like super awkward.
Okay. Just throwing it out there though.
More of the story.
Jake
though,
should
is
really
Jake,
play some storage.
Yeah.
like,
Jake
seriously.
yeah. So I
The
faced off against
theme.
Jake again in Top Cut, and he's like, oh, like yeah, I'm just going to like I don't have room for one video, so he just kept deleting the most recent recording. I was
mean,
like, look,
that's better than
like,
nothing.
it's better than nothing. I was like, yeah, go for it if it makes you feel comfortable. If you don't want to, like, I'm recording, and like for me, like you could take me on my word for it, because I gave him a def one earlier for when he didn't have recording. I was like, look, you can just look at my footage too. It's fine. I don't care, right, that much. But I was like, feel free to record at yourself, if just for your own peace of mind too. Because sometimes you see different things on different recordings where you get more specific, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, so it was I almost lost to Jake too in the rematch, but anyway, again, just Niantic, we're begging you to just try to get it together a little bit on this. I'm sure it's
Just
not
a
an
little
easy.
bit.
I know
Like,
it's
just a little bit.
I know it can't be an easy task, right? But it's a very important task, and obviously there's a lot of things that go on in this game, so it's hard to say prioritize just this, but it is unfortunately a very frustrating aspect of what otherwise would be a fun game with nice competition. It just kind of like puts a damper on everything. But yeah, and also just please do LAN at tournaments. I know, like, I don't think Niantic wants to do it, right? I know it'll take resources to do it, but like if you bring LAN to a tournament, you reduce the latency to like pretty much zero, right? You have zero ping, and hopefully that fixes these like one-turn situations. They already have hardwired Wi-Fi into these phones, and it still happens, right? It's not enough. You need LAN. I don't know any serious esports game that doesn't have LAN at their in-person big tournaments. It makes no sense, right? I literally can't think of a single one. There might be some out there, but they're probably some like small indie game company, right? This is not the biggest. They're not playing the biggest franchise in the whole world, right? Competitive game on the biggest franchise in the whole world. I know it costs money and stuff. Maybe this could be something that Niantic partners with TPCI on. I don't know, right? Like, I don't think it'd be unreasonable if TPCI also has to pitch in for some of this too, right? Because some of their events, but I think it does. My guess is that the initiative does have to come from Niantic, because TPCI can't just be like, all right, they can't build their own like Niantic server, on the spot, right? That has to be
it has to be a collaboration between.
And they
it has to be
can't
at least a
code
collaboration.
Niantic's game for them either.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, they can only do so much
If
with the rule
only.
sets and stuff, right? And the production things, but
Yeah.
I
do want to mention too, PB Poke made a tweet about this. I don't know if you guys saw. He said, I hope that Niantic Labs and Play Pokemon are collaborating to overcome the roadblocks for fixing these issues. However, if Niantic doesn't have the interest or resources to maintain the competitive integrity of Go, then Go doesn't belong in the competitive circuit.
Yeah, I did see that actually. And that's definitely like those are strong words, but I don't think PV Poke is like out of line for saying those things, because it's true. It's just like it's just like people pay a lot of money to go to these tournaments, right? Like I know Niantic's probably sick of people complaining, but like this is not like a free tournament. This is not GBL where you're sitting at home playing. Like, you're spending thousands of dollars traveling and taking time out. Your like time is money, but money is also money, and they're spending both, right? Time and money for this.
It's only going to get worse, like as the competitive circuit like continues with Go in it. I don't know at what point who would even decide not to include it anymore. I guess that would be Play Pokemon. But like, if they're watching players become increasingly frustrated, and if they start to see attendance go down because of these issues, then they're not going to be incentivized to include it, So because they want to make their money as well. So yeah, if I think I totally agree with your assessment of the PV Poke tweet. Like, yeah, if they're not interested in fixing these issues, then maybe it doesn't
I
belong
don't
there.
think it would be about money for play Pokemon, because like I don't think they're making money off of running these tournaments. But I think that the competitive integrity is certainly important, and like if the game state is so bad that like it's just a complete mess, like that's not, it's not fun for people, and it's also just like not, again, it's not it doesn't meet that competitive integrity, which
Yeah.
starts to cause a lot of questions and concerns at that point.
Yeah.
um
Yeah, it's I don't know. Anyway, hopefully things do get better. I will say one reflection, slightly unrelated to all this lag discussion. But I will say at my local tournament, dude, there were a ton of people running Toxapex and Diggersby on their teams. And that core is kind of disgusting to face. Like it was like Toxapex was super scary because I had like a Zoomer on my team, right? And also just like a bulk machine. But my best answer was like Ferrothorn and Clodsire. And usually they had a fire too on top of it. But it was also like really hard to beat Clodsire because they had Diggersby everywhere. So that's why when I saw Tomahawk do so well with his Clodsire or her Diggersby Toxapex core, I was like, yeah, that team was pretty strong. It was pretty strong. So something to look out for.
Definitely.
Guys, you seem like you lost your cat or something.
No. Well, I don't know. My cat saw something enter into my house. I did not see what it was, and now he's like chasing it, and I'm worried.
You're worried for the cat,
Oh
or you're
my
worried
god!
for?
Oh my god!
Wait, what is it? What is it? What is it?
It's a lizard.
Oh, yeah. I'd be worried about the lizard, not the cat.
I'm not worried about my cat. I just like
Yeah.
my first thought goes to like something dangerous.
Oh,
It's like
yeah.
it's a skink. I don't think it's dangerous, but it scares the crap out of me because they slither.
Yeah, they're kind of quick with
so
it.
much. Oh my god, I can see it.
Yeah. The cat's like, ooh, afternoon snack.
I've actually had one of these in my house before, and it evaded me for weeks. And like,
what's the
Yeah.
cat
How did
doing
it
wrong?
How did it evade your
I
cat
don't
for
know.
weeks? That's the real
it's
question.
too fast. It's too
It's
fast.
faster than cat.
Your cats
Yeah,
are
it's
natural. Cats are
freaking
natural
fast.
born hunters.
Listen,
Yeah,
he's been
no,
inside.
not, yeah,
He's
not,
been
yeah,
inside for
yeah,
a
not,
very
not
long
our
time.
cats, right? My cat will run away from a freaking cockroach.
Yeah.
I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Like, you're like 20 times its size.
Yeah.
It's not even poisonous.
No, it's funny because he won't go after bugs. Like I see, like I live in the American South. I see cockroaches.
Yeah, there's bugs. There's a lot of bugs in Atlanta.
every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
And like my cat looks at those on the wall and it's just like, ah.
Oh, but
You
your
know,
cat's into
but
the slink?
The lizard, yeah, the skink. It
Oh,
is
the
very
skink, yeah.
into, yeah, and like I said, this thing is fast, and
Is your cat like? Has your cat ever caught one in the past?
he's caught like baby geckos before, but they're a lot slower, and they like only come out at night.
What does he do with them when he catches them?
He just sort of plays with them.
Oh, okay.
You know?
Yeah.
The previous skink, he actually did. So skinks are one of those lizards that can lose their tails. So my cat did, I think, manage to get the tail off of the skink. I found it later.
Yo, be like, I got like 10 tails from this guy already. He's still going.
I know, but the skink is like still moving, right? So
Yeah.
I saw it go behind my board games over there. I'm sure I'll be scared by it later.
Yeah.
I think give it a few weeks,
This is-
Kaz, and you'll get used to him. You know, it'll be the next.
This is
the
a
new pet.
future Kaz problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I
Where's
did get startled. I did get startled because it like ran right under my feet, you know.
Yeah.
And like even though I know it's like not harmful, it's still just like a thing, like like a primal
Oh, for
instinct.
sure,
It's
for
like,
sure.
no, don't touch
Oh,
me.
yeah.
This reminds me
Yeah.
when back in the day when Daniel Zanieri had a podcast for Pokemon Go before he joined TPCI. I was on it with Zionic, and a spider like flew down right in front of my face.
God,
Yeah, and landed on my lap.
no,
Like
no.
it had like a
Yeah.
web from the ceiling all the way in
Oh
front of my
my
face, and it
God.
fell on my lap, and I was like,
That's
"I get it."
terrifying. Well, what makes it
Uh,
worse is we've got all this film equipment like in here right now, and like there's
Yeah.
a billion places. There's a billion
That's
places.
him trying to
this
make
thing
it
can
on
hide.
film for the next
I
movie.
know. He's like, hey, I heard you
Yeah.
put an octopus in this one.
Godzilla
Maybe next
3.
time a lizard.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, that's a good little sidetrack. Speaking of the championship
Sorry.
series too.
Sorry.
No, you're good. You don't have to
We
apologize.
got
If there's a skink running around,
we-
you're allowed to scream and whatever.
There was
But,
one other thing from the
This
broadcast.
is content. Clip it.
Yeah.
Kaz's
So
corner gets real.
Yeah, next week we're talking about Inteleon.
Skink is about to double its points.
True, dude. At the rate I'm going at, it might pass me soon. Sorry, what were you saying, Tristan?
Oh, I was saying that I didn't catch this because again I didn't get to watch much of the broadcast, but apparently on the broadcast they teased that there are three additional North American regionals.
Yeah.
And when they were going over, because you know how they do like, what's the season roadmap look like? So they didn't have like the city or the exact dates, but they had the regionals like slotted in where they would be. So it looks like there's going to be one North American regional coming sometime in January or February, another one sometime in March or April, and the last one sometime in May or June. Just based
March
on
or April? Okay. May or June. Because what do we have right now for the docket for spring?
I mean,
Okay,
those
so-
seem
okay,
like
so basically-
prime dates for Charlotte,
So right now-
Nashville, and Orlando. Just saying.
Yeah, we can't
So
do
right
all
now-
Southeast now.
Yeah, so right now we have so they have Toronto is on the schedule for like mid-December, and then there's a TBA regional, and then the next thing is London in like mid to late February. So most
But we
likely
don't have
that-
a regional in February, right? In North America regional?
Correct.
Correct.
Currently, yeah.
Okay.
So
That's a little
but
unfortunate.
we don't have anything in January either. So that's why this TBA regional could be January or like early February. It'll be somewhere
yeah.
there.
I see what you're saying. No. What I'm asking is what are the regionals we have confirmed already for spring? Like,
Right.
how
Well,
many
I
do we
was
have?
just
For
going over
spring,
where
there's,
these would all slot in. So I'm
Yeah,
just
yeah,
saying
yeah.
the
There's
first TBA
Vancouver
one is,
at the start of March.
yeah,
And
and then Milwaukee is in
then-
the start of May. So
And that's
this,
it?
Yeah, that's it.
Oh shoot! Yeah, we need
Yeah.
at least. I mean, I know we're getting 3, but I kind of wish we got more than 3. But I guess this year we just have less regionals in general.
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, they also, I don't know. They announce them throughout the year, so we might get some late ones even announced like once 2025 is,
Because of the fact
here.
that they put these in a schedule, it makes me think that this is probably it. Because if there was more,
Yeah.
then they would just put in more TBAs, right? Like,
Yeah.
if they were planning on 5 more regionals, then they would have put in 5 TBAs. But the fact that there's 3 makes me think there's probably 3 more coming. So,
I
like,
mean, in fairness, North America's championship point qualification cap did increase. So, maybe it all evens out in the end as far as the
Wait,
number
what
of North
what
Americans.
increased?
Well, like the number of possible North American qualifiers increased for this season. Like, because it went to 75 and you didn't have like 75 plus regionals in the last season, right? It was like,
Wait, what do you mean
Oh, you mean
75 plus
The-
regionals?
he
Wait,
means,
is it-
no.
is 7
You mean
qualifying
the
for
cap
Worlds?
people.
yeah, for people
who
qualifying to
can
Worlds.
qualify. Not you're not talking about points.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
You're talking
Yeah,
about
so,
Well,
like,
I don't think
spots
that matters too much,
available.
right? Because
Yeah, sure. But like,
Because,
if you have less regionals, you lose a few qualification spots, I suppose, because you don't have
Yeah.
regional winners of that
Yeah.
tournament.
I
That's
see
fair.
what you're saying. I mean, NA has plenty. I'm not complaining about that, right? Like,
Yeah,
like,
no,
who-
we're still far and away. Like,
yeah.
the most
Dude,
most
if we had more
availability
too,
out of
it'd just
anyone.
be Doombug winning a few extra more. I think a few extra ones. I'm surprised he didn't go to Baltimore actually, but
same.
Um,
But
yeah, maybe he's just planning out the rest of the year. But anyway, yeah, okay, that'll be interesting for sure. Speaking of upcoming tournaments as well for this season, and LAIC registration goes live tomorrow,
Mhm.
Yeah. Well,
which is
it'll
like
be
also
by the time this episode's up.
by the time
it's
this
come and
episode
gone,
comes out, it's
so-
gone. What is this tweet though? They tweeted it out today, and they said in less than 24 hours, the first wave goes live.
Mhm.
Okay,
The
no,
tweet
there
is
was
out at
a.
9 a.m. 9
This
a.m.
isn't new
Pacific.
info. It's
Huh?
newish, but it didn't just come out today.
Oh,
like I already,
The registration
I found this
for
out a
LAIC.
couple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
it came out on
we
the
just never
week,
talked about it.
a couple days ago. Like it came out in the last week. I thought.
Oh, okay,
Um,
okay.
Maybe I'm.
There- I
mistaken.
don't even know.
think it was-
How
I
do you
think
even
it
sign
was
up for this?
announced
Just on
last week.
Arcanine?
Yeah, Arcanine,
Yeah.
I assume.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it said, yeah, the tweet that they posted today reads like it's gonna open up. Registration opens up wave 1 tomorrow at 6 a.m. PT. So
Tomorrow, and that's Tuesday. So by the time you hear this, the registrations are all live. So
yes.
Yeah, it's
Possibly
presumably
even
capped
sold
out
out.
unless they've put a massive number
possibly
in.
sold out. Possibly sold out. They actually have they tease actually. Oh, the welcome kit looks kind of cool too on the site.
Yeah, so
You can
we've
see it,
had
but there's, like, a
so
hat.
we've known this was coming.
Playmat's kind of cool.
On the 12th, they announced all this info. It just wasn't
Okay, yeah.
directly tweeted out like that, but like on the 12th, they posted a link to Pokemon.com, which I think they tweeted out about with all the details about LEIC, which included
Yeah.
registration information. It's
Yeah.
just today they made a specific tweet with like these are the specific times and stuff, like in case you missed all the other info.
Yeah.
So we have known about this for a few days, and there are already some people registered because all the people with travel awards got to register, and I think possibly even
Top
those
16.
top 16 got to register as well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. So a lot of people, because I saw some people posting about the registrations already, which is kind of interesting. So yeah, we'll see how that goes, but it's in the same venue as it has been for the past 2 years. And I'm very curious to see how many people go internationally for this. Obviously, with those with the travel award and early registration, some of them are already trying to go. I know you say registered, right? So he's going.
Yeah, I think I saw that.
Are you planning on going, Steve?
We'll find out if this rego works, I guess. Like, check in
I
next
think you have to
episode.
stay up for yours, right? Because what time does it drop?
Yeah.
What time does the first wave
It'll
drop for
be
you?
First wave is 11 p.m., which is well past
that's
my
not bad
bedtime.
at all.
It's
Dude,
not
I'd
bad
rather
for
do
most
11
people,
p.m.
but
than
it's well
6
past
a.m.
mine. Well, then the next wave 2 is at 7 a.m. the next morning. So I'll be, I'll try and do both. We'll see.
Well,
We'll see
hopefully
what
you only
happens.
do one.
I mean, if
but
you get the
yeah,
first one, you
hopefully.
can sleep in a little bit.
Yeah, we'll see how we go, I guess. But fingers
Yeah.
crossed. If I don't get to rego, then I'm just not going, and I'll stay home.
I think
sure.
also the ban on the Brazilian X is no longer, because I saw Hard Jeff
really?
actually register or tweet earlier too. So I think the ban has been lifted. So
But I do like that they do two different.
It seems like it still
times.
is.
I like that they do two different waves though, just to give people more of a chance. And like, if you're not able to make one, you can still shoot for the other and stuff. I think that's a nice little thing.
Yeah.
Well, for an international tournament, it's really nice that it sort of spreads that across time zones a little bit. Like, I know that 11 p.m. isn't that bad for like, my time zone, but say New Zealand, like that first one is actually 1 a.m. And so it's sort of nice to have at least one wave that sort of added a reasonable hour in your own time zone wherever you are in the world. So it's nice.
Yeah, like for Caleb and I, it's like the first one is 6 a.m., but the second one is 2 p.m. So it's like same sort of a deal.
Right.
East Coast is like super blessed because both of those are pretty reasonable times for them.
Woo!
Kaz, see you at Brazil, Kaz. Bring that chestnut.
Kaz's Corner has been relocated to Sao Paulo.
Yeah. For real. Yeah. All right. I think that pretty much does it for us. I know we went on quite a bit about the championship series stuff and the T topic, but it is again, we say this not to complain, but because we are on year 4.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Some people
you can be a little mad.
I think you'd say I'm mad either. I'm just a little.
Maybe I'll be mad if I lose to one.
I'm a little unmotivated, I think. Yeah. But anyway, I wish you all the best of luck on your veteran grind. I'm going for that first place, so good luck on that second place. But anyway, we have best of luck to those. It's there's not a tournament this upcoming weekend, right?
No.
Okay, so just
it's
be
Dortmund and Joinville are both the same weekend in the following weekends.
Oh
yeah. Yo, I gotta say, Frauthorn really solid. I played it in my cup, kind of did some work. It did some work, so something to consider. I know it's not on like anywhere, any graphics of any grass types. I don't know if anyone brought
definitely better into that Clodsire matchup.
It loses everything but the 2 shields. Yeah, it's nuts. You win the 2 shields, and you only win it if you land a flash cannon at some point. It's kind of nuts. Yeah,
Sus.
I know. That's the Earthquake Clodsire too. I don't even know about Sludge Bomb, but yeah, it's kind
Nice.
of nutty. It's kind of nutty.
Sludge Bomb still resisted, so Claw's going to be throwing Earthquake regardless.
Mhm.
Oh, true. Yeah, because the double resist from the steel. Yeah,
Yeah.
Mhm.
good point. Anyway, thank you all for tuning in for our episode. Congrats again to Wdage for early qualification for Worlds. We'll see if he goes this upcoming year or not. But yeah, the meta overall seems pretty solid. Just bring Clodsire and Clodsire counters, and you should be good to go. So that's a simple breakdown. But anyway, hope you have a great one, and we'll catch you on the next one. Peace out.
Bye.